A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
It's Duffy's Tavern, the Friday night transcribed feature on NBC's All-Star Festival of Comedy, Music, Mystery, and Drama. Brought to you by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. By Chesterfield, the cigarette that has for you mildness with no unpleasant aftertaste. The cigarette that brings you Bing Crosby and Bob Hope. And by the makers of Anacin, for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, neuralgia. And now here we go, friends, to Duffy's Tavern with Slapsy Maxie Rosenblum, Arthur Treacher, Bert Gordon as the Mad Russian, Hazel Sherman as Miss Duffy, and starring Archie himself, Ed Gardner.
Hello, Duffy's Tavern, where the elite meet to eat. Archie the manager speaking. Duffy ain't here. Oh, hello, Duffy. What's doing? Nothing much. We had a visit from the building inspector. I guess he likes to laugh as well as the next guy. And I'm afraid he might give the tavern a bad report, Duffy. Yeah, he says if the termites ever stop holding hands, the whole place will collapse. He also made a wisecrack about the way our floor slants, you know. He says we're the only building in town where the mice have to wear skid chains. By the way, speaking of rodents, Arthur Treacher is threatening to quit his job here. Well, he's having trouble with the customers, you know. They claim he shortchanges them on account of he's British. Yeah, they say every time he serves them alphabet soup, he drops the H's. But I hate to lose the guy, Duffy. You know, he's got a lot of good qualities, you know. For instance, he's got a great knack for serving our hash without that guilty expression on his face. Huh? Well, I think he got an offer from Grogan's across the street, but I'm going to try to talk him out of it. Well, you know the old line, Duffy. Gratitude, chance for advancement, all we've done for him, money ain't everything. The old sucker pitch. Well, certainly he'll bite. Don't I fall for it every time I ask you for a raise? Well, just leave him to me, Duffy. I'll call you back. Say, Treacher.
What is it, old chap?
Say, is there anything to the rumor that you're planning to leave this joint?
In a word, indubitably.
Ain't got another word hanging around, have you?
Oh, yes, I have, but I can't use it now. Ladies at the bar, you know.
Oh, please, Treacher, before you do anything brash, leave us reason out your beef's logical. Now, answer me. Do you object to Duffy working you 18 hours a day, 7 days a week?
Definitely.
I suppose you also object to Duffy's habit of bleeding his employees?
Well, it's not that so much. What I resent is his selling the blood to the Red Cross.
And I suppose you also object to not being paid no salary?
Decidedly.
Treacher, I'm afraid you didn't enter this discussion with an open mind. Don't you realize that money can't buy happiness?
Perhaps not, but with money one can have such a jolly time being miserable. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll pack my snake bite kit and prepare to leave.
Hello? Okay, Miss Duffy, it's for you.
Who is it? Vera Fogarty?
No, it ain't Vera Fogarty. Strangely enough, it's a man.
A man? Give me that phone. Hello, Miss Duffy speaking, and I'd love to. What? Archie, it's Papa.
So what, since when are you so choosy?
Are you a wise guy? What is it, Papa? Yeah, that's right, Arthur Treacher's quitting. Well, he wants a salary. I know it's unreasonable, Papa, but you know how help are these days. We've tried everything to get him to stay. We even told him he don't have to eat here. What, Papa? Why don't I do what? Use my feminine what? What, Papa? My.
What'd he say?
He says I should vamp Treacher into staying.
Theta Barra rides again.
Oh, Arthur.
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Treacher, you have always thought of me as the daughter of your employer, haughty and, shall we say, unattainable. Now I want you to think of me as the girl of your dreams.
I'll never sleep again.
Don't fight your true feelings for me. If I stood close to you and closed my eyes and tilted my head back and back and back, don't you know what would happen?
Eventually, old girl, you'd fall flat on your chignon.
Oh, Arthur, you're just bashful. Here, look. My lips are puckered. My eyes are closed. I'm putting my arms around you.
Miss Duffy, leave go of me.
Oh, where's Treacher?
He escaped in time. Now, wait a minute. Here comes a customer. Well, good evening, sir.
How do you do?
It's the Mad Russian. Glad to see you, Russian. What goes with you?
I have just been to see my doctor.
Your doctor, huh? Anything wrong?
No, he's in the pink of condition.
I mean, is there anything wrong with you? Physically, that is.
Nothing wrong. The doctor says I'm healthy as a horse.
Healthy as a horse, huh?
Yes, and he should know.
Tell me, why?
He's a horse doctor.
Look, Russian, why do you go to a horse doctor? You ain't a horse.
Not so loud. He might hear you and raise the rates. Now, if you'll pardon me, I will take my pill.
Your pill? Okay, here's a glass of water.
Thank you.
Hey, what's that string doing on the pill?
How else am I going to take it 3 times a day? Pray, tell me.
Mm-hmm.
There is a rumor hanging on the grapevine that Arthur Treacher has escaped.
Well, you might, so to speak. We had a little difference of opinion over money.
Money? What's money? As I always say, be it ever so humble, there is no place like home.
What's that got to do with money?
Plenty. I owe 6 months' rent. Which reminds me, I am in the market for a job. In the job for a market. Either way. Which way would you like it? I am in the market for a job.
Well, a job you want, huh? Tell me, what can you do?
He asked me what I could do. Come to think of it, what can I do?
I'll tell you what you can do. You can go across the street to Grogan's and see if Arthur Treacher is working there.
Wait. You are asking me to be a double-dealing, low-down, double-crossing spy?
Well,
Me, a spy?
I'll give you 6 free drinks on the house.
6 free drinks?
Yeah.
Shake hands with Masa Harry.
Here's a word from RCA Victor. Friends, if you study the room you're in right now, you'll realize that you can't buy furnishings piece by piece without the final picture in mind. It's that way when you buy television, too. Now, here's how to get the most out of your television dollar. Consider the complete home entertainment picture, radio and records, as well as TV. Instead of having many instruments scattered about, why not settle for one fine cabinet that costs less and contains your complete home entertainment needs? Such a one-cabinet combination is the RCA Victor Rutland. Open the doors on the Rutland's 18th century cabinet, and you'll find 17-inch million-proof television with its clear, steady pictures, AM and FM radio, and the Victrola 45 record changer, as well as a changer for 78 and 33 1/3. Yes, so many more families are becoming television owners this week. If you're one of them, remember to see and listen to the exciting new Rutland at your RCA Victor dealers.
You know, Miss Duffy, I don't blame Treacher if he takes that job with Grogan's.
What do you mean?
Well, a lousy way your old man treats people. Now, after all, there comes a time in the course of human events when all men is created equal.
Archie, you stole that speech from somebody.
I did not.
Then where did you get it?
I got it from Thomas Jefferson.
That's the trouble. You'd be better off if you'd listened to Papa instead of your dopey friends.
Miss Duffy, Thomas Jefferson is not a friend of mine. He happens to be the deceased father of our country.
George Washington was the father of our country.
You think a country this big only had one father?
What's that got to do with Arthur Treacher? He's an Englishman.
What was George Washington?
An Englishman.
Touché. And if you ask me, I should have been just as smart as Treacher and quit working for that old man of yours long ago.
What price gratitude?
Gratitude to who?
To Papa, who made you what you are today. You're worthless good for nothing.
Look, Miss Duffy, don't give me them honeyed words. Boy, when I think what I could have been if I didn't come to work here 10 years ago.
What could you have been?
What could I have been? It so happens that the very morning your father hired me, I turned down a splendid opportunity to go on relief. And from there on, who knows?
Archie, my boy, come here.
Yeah, excuse me, what is it?
Spy number 6420J reporting.
Oh, good, 6420J. Hey, why the umbrella over your head?
I am working undercover.
Well, that's very sleuthy. Now, tell me, what's the dope? I mean, outside of you.
Just a minute. Are we alone?
Yes.
But who is that standing beside you?
That's you.
I know. I know that. But can I be trusted?
Well, I guess we'll have to take a chance. Tell me, what's doing over at Grogan's?
I regret to report that Treacher is working with the enemy.
Well, then there's only one thing to do. We got to hire another waiter.
What's about giving me the job? Me?
Look, I'm sorry, Russian. We got to have somebody a little more high class, you know, a little more refined than you. Hello? Bowery Bum Personnel Service? This is Duffy's Tavern. We need a waiter. The qualifications? Well, you know, somebody who knows the cultured little touches, like preparing a tasty Mickey Thin, or pouring iodine on a steak to make it look rare. You know, the subtle little niceties. Huh? The hours? Well, he works from 7 to 3. That's 7 a.m., of course. No, the 3 is a.m., too. Huh? The salary, 20 a week and 50%. That's right, 50% of what he shortchanges the customers. You got a man? Okay, send him down.
What are you doing, Archie?
I'm composing a business letter to me competitor for stealing Arthur Treacher.
Oh, what does it say?
Well, I'll read it. My dear Mr. Grogan, I would like to tell you what I think of you, but I am far too genteel. Suffice it to say that you stink.
Well, that's telling him.
Yeah. It is such people as you that cause ill feeling between labor and management by offering a living wage. In closing, may I say that you are nothing but a crook, a swindler, and a no-good crumb. I remain the same. Signed, Archie. P.S. In addition to the above, Grogan, you are the most gruesomest man that I have ever seen.
Hiya, Bud.
Grogan, you are one of the most gruesomest men I have ever seen. Now, what can I do for you, Dimples?
Well, I'm from the employment agency. I'm your new waiter.
A waiter? You don't look much like a waiter.
Too pretty, huh?
Pretty. You look more beat up than our food here.
So what do you want for 20 a week? Shirley Temple?
Hey, you know, you're pretty fast with the repartee, you know. Hey, would you mind answering a few questions?
Okay. What's the category?
Well, the quiz kid. First, what's your name?
Rosenblum.
Hmm? Born?
Yep.
I've heard that one a million times, but this is the first time I ever doubted it. Tell me, what education did you have? Did you go to high school?
High school?
Yeah.
Does that come before or after college?
Let's skip it.
I think I did.
I mean, did you ever go to school, stupid?
Yeah, and I came out stupid, too.
I'll buy that.
Well, any other questions?
Yeah, how long you been a waiter?
How long? Well, what time did you call the agency?
Look, Bud.
What?
Where did you ever work?
Oh, Madison Square Garden, the Legion Stadium, the St. Nicholas Arena.
Just a minute, Rosenblum. You ain't Maxie Rosenblum, the fighter.
Yep, that's me.
Maxie Rosenblum. I'm sorry I didn't recognize you. Standing up. You know, I've seen you fight a dozen times, Maxie. I remember the night you fought King Levinsky.
Yeah, that King Levinsky. What an unfair fighter.
What do you mean, unfair?
Well, every time I stuck my thumb in his eye, he'd foul me. It's too late for me to make a comeback.
And, I remember the night that Mickey Walker flattened you with that right hook in the first round.
Ah, that Mickey Walker was just lucky.
Lucky?
Yeah, but George just happened to be where he was swinging, that's all.
You never did fight Joe Louis, did you?
Nah, he was afraid.
Afraid, huh?
Yeah, he was afraid he'd kill me. Logical.
Look, Maxie, how come you gave up fighting?
Well, I had trouble with my eyes.
Trouble with your eyes, huh?
Yeah, I had to, I lost the place too. Yeah, I had trouble with my eyes. Yeah, after the second round, I always seemed to be looking up at my opponent, at the other guy I was fighting. He wouldn't take that word out. Look up at the other guy.
Now, look, maybe I'll hire you. You know, I'm partial to fighters, Maxie. I used to be a fighter myself, you know.
You were a fighter?
Feel that wrist. Feel that bicuspid. No, that ain't chopped liver.
It ain't muscles.
Well, muscles ain't everything. You see, I was very clever, very scientific. I used to slither around that ring like a needle. In fact, they used to call me Archie the Ringworm.
You know, that I believe.
Ahem.
Oh, look, quiet, Miss Duffy.
Hey, what a beautiful dame.
This guy's punchier than I thought he
Will you please introduce me while he's still on his feet?
Okay, Miss Duffy, shake hands with Maxie Rosenblum, one of the most powerful fighters in the world. Formally, of course.
Oh, cut out the formal introductions. Shake hands, Miss Duffy.
Glad to.
Ouch, what a grip. How long you been fighting?
She got that grip rowing out the battleships.
Archie, that is not true.
No?
I got it rowing back from battleships.
I know it had something to do with defense.
Oh, Slapsy,
Yes?
I'm not doing anything tonight.
Swell. Let's go over to Stillman's Gymnasium and spar a few rounds, huh?
Oh, please, Maxie, that would hardly be a fair match.
Maybe you're right.
You've been out of the ring much too long.
Look, Miss Duffy, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You mean?
Out. Now, Maxie, about this job here as a waiter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's our standard waiter's contract. Just close your eyes and sign here.
Sign my name?
Yeah.
If I could write, you think I'd work in a joint like this?
If you can't write, how can you take down the customer's orders?
I got a system.
You got a system, huh?
Yeah, I make X's.
Uh-huh.
1 X for a salad, 2 X's for soup, and 3 X's for meat and coffee.
3 X's for both meat and coffee?
Yep.
Well, how can you tell which is which?
Easy. If you drink it, it's coffee.
Maybe I'd better give this guy a further test. Now, let's imagine I'm a customer sitting here at the table, Maxie. What do you do first?
Well, I tuck the napkin under your chin.
Well, that's correct as far as it goes, but what do you do if I ain't wearing a collar?
If you ain't wearing a collar, what do you need a napkin for?
Maxie, one uses a napkin irregardless of whether he is attired in a collar or not. That's considered good form. And as a waiter, you must not forget Emily Post.
Why didn't you tell me you came in with a dame?
Look, all right. Are there any further questions you'd like to know?
Yeah. How come you won't pay me $50 a week instead of $20?
50? You're asking pretty high wages for somebody with no experience.
Yeah, but don't forget, it's much harder work when you don't know what you're doing. And you don't know nothing about it.
Look, nothing doing, Archie. It's 20 a week. Take it or leave it.
Okay, but before I start, I want one thing misunderstood.
What?
Anybody that says anything around here I don't like gets a punch in the nose. You understand that?
Does that go for everybody?
Everybody, including you, ringworm.
Oh, yeah? Now, look, I'm the manager here, and I'll say anything I want anytime I feel like it.
You will, huh?
Anytime I feel like it.
Okay. Go ahead and say it.
Well, right now, I don't feel like it.
Archie, I'm afraid we'll have to get rid of that Slapsy Maxie.
What's the matter?
A customer just spilled some soup, and Mr. Rosenblum is mopping it up.
Well, what's wrong with that?
He's using the customer for the mop.
Well, at least he's neat.
Say, Archie,
Huh?
what's wrong with that new waiter?
Why, what's the matter?
He's punching me in the nose for just asking one simple question.
What was the question?
I just asked him, how's your cauliflower today?
Well, I'll see. I'll have to take care of this guy. Hey, Maxie.
What do you want, jerk?
If I wasn't such a coward, I'd thrash this guy. Look, Maxie, didn't them 5 guys you just served 5 beers to leave just now?
Yeah, they left. What about it?
Where's the 2 bits for the 5 beers?
Oh, they didn't pay me 2 bits for the beers. They just left me a tip.
How much was the tip?
2 bits. You want to make something about it?
Well, no, I was just thinking what generous guys they was.
Okay. Now, I'm in the middle of eating. Don't bother me again, huh? And bring me another plate of hash, huh?
Yes, sir. 1 hash coming up. I'm afraid I've hired a playboy. What am I going to do about this guy?
Oh, I say, old Bean, I'm back.
Well, Arthur Treacher, so the Portugal son has returned. But I should think you'd be ashamed to walk into this place.
I am. That's why I always cover my face with my hat.
I mean, you turned turncoat on us and you went over to work for Grogan's.
On the contrary, I merely went to Grogan's to study the methods of our competitor.
Well, what'd you find out?
Oh, the food is good, the kitchen is clean, the plates are spotless, the entire place is spick and span.
That's what we're up against, dirty competition. But, Treacher, I'm glad you're back, and I'm going to pay you a salary.
A salary?
Yes, sir. I'll give you $1 a week.
Oh, goody, $1 a week, eh? Oh, now I can keep a harem.
Hey, Maxie, come here.
You still beating your gums?
Look, I'm sorry to say that a situation has arose. Treacher, our former head waiter, has re-enlisted with us, see? Which naturally leaves you with very little seniority to fall back on.
Hey, wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me I'm fired?
Well, frankly...
Do you know what happened to the last guy that fired me?
No.
Neither does he. So think it over.
Maxie, now, leave us not make a scene. I'll have to ask you to turn in your bar rag and brass knuckles and leave quietly.
Well, what about my week's salary?
Week's salary? You only been here 20 minutes.
What?
Okay, we'll pay you a week's salary. Let's see here. 5, 10, 15, 20. Here you are, Maxie, 20 cents. And if you don't mind, I'd like a receipt.
You'd like a receipt, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, here. I'll give you one.
Ow!
Hello? Duffy's Tavern. Treacher, the acting manager speaking. Oh, hello, Mr. Duffy. Archie? He just went out. Oh, I should say he'll be out for about 10 minutes.
Here is something you should know if you ever suffer from the sudden pain of headaches, neuritis, or neuralgia. It's a way to ease the pain, often within a few minutes. A way that is incredibly fast and effective. It's Anacin. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. Thousands of people were first introduced to Anacin through their own physicians or dentists. But today, these tablets are in such widespread use that all drug counters have them, and anyone may enjoy their benefits. Next time you suffer from the pains of a headache, neuritis, or neuralgia, by all means, try Anacin. You'll like the convenience of Anacin tablets, and you'll be delighted with Anacin's incredibly fast action. Anacin. Anacin. Ask for Anacin by name today at your druggist's. Listen again next week, friends, to Duffy's Tavern, the Friday night transcribed feature on NBC's All-Star Festival of Comedy, Music, Mystery, and Drama. Brought to you by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. By Chesterfield, the cigarette that has for you mildness with no unpleasant aftertaste. The best cigarette for you to smoke. And by the makers of Anacin, for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, neuralgia. Listen tomorrow evening for The Man Called X, starring Herbert Marshall, the Saturday night feature of the All-Star Festival. It's Duffy's Tavern, the Friday night transcribed feature on NBC's All-Star Festival of Comedy, Music, Mystery, and Drama. Brought to you by Chesterfield, the cigarette that has for you mildness with no unpleasant aftertaste. The cigarette that brings you Bing Crosby and Bob Hope. By the makers of Anacin, for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, neuralgia. And by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. And now here we go, friends, to Duffy's Tavern, with our guest Arthur Treacher, and starring Archie himself, Ed Gardner.
Hello, Duffy's Tavern, where the elite meet to eat. Archie, the manager, speaking. Duffy ain't here. Hello, Duffy, what's the matter? You sound like you've got distemper. Huh? You heard there was a big fight here last night? Duffy, it was nothing. All that happened was, you see, at 12 o'clock, I went up to Swede Johansson, and I told him to go home. Well, you know Johansson, he always gets cockeyed on one drink. Usually the 17th. Well, anyway, I tell him to go home, so he turns to me, and he tells me to... Well, he made a suggestion. So I politely tell him that if he don't leave the premises, I'll have him ejaculated. So he says, oh, yeah? So I says, oh, yeah. So he says, oh, yeah? So I says, oh, yeah. So he says, you and who else? So I says, me and nobody else. You know, that Johansson don't scare me just because he has that wooden leg. Well, anyway, he unscrews his wooden leg, swings it at me, misses me, and hits Moriarty on the skull. So Moriarty, naturally thinking it was his wife who hits him, picks up a table and he belts her with it. Well, you know Mrs. Moriarty, she's the sensitive type, so she picks Moriarty up and flings him through the window. Well, while he's on his way through the window, Johansson swipes his drink. Now, Cleary, who was also grabbing for the drink, accuses Johansson of being a crook. See? And that's when the fight started. Well, Duffy, don't blame these Donnybrooks on me. Just figure it out for yourself. Anybody who'll eat in a place like this is just naturally reckless. Well, look, I'll call you back. I got to clean the place up in case of a counterattack. Yeah, okay. Hey, Yasha. Yasha Panyaslavnik.
How do you do?
Look, Yasha, in that brawl we had here last night...
Yes?
How many people was malfeased?
Oh, not many, Chief. After it was all over, I counted noses, and there was only 6 missing.
6 people?
No, noses.
Hello? Oh, hello, Callahan. Did we find your what? Uppers or lowers? Well, do you remember where you last had them? In Moriarty's leg, huh? Well, maybe they'll turn up. We're still sifting the sawdust. Okay, Callahan.
Say, Archie, do you remember a customer here last night with thick, brown, wavy hair parted on the side?
Why?
Well, here's his hair. I found it behind the bar.
Let me see. Hey, Miss Duffy, that's Schultz's toupee.
How do you know it's Schultz's?
I can tell by that streak of gray. You know, Schultz worries a lot.
By the way, Chief, there's a letter here for you.
Well, let's see. Oh, Kent. Looks like that battle last night had grim repercussions.
What do you mean?
This letter is from the bank that rents us this building. They're sending a man down here tonight, and I'm afraid they ain't going to give us a new lease for next year.
Not going to give us a new lease for next year.
Why don't you outsmart him, Arch?
Outsmart him?
Yeah.
How, Finnegan?
Use the old lease for another year.
Look, this is no time for idosities. This is a serious thing. Might mean that Duffy's Tavern will be closed up.
Closed Duffy's Tavern?
Yep.
But, Arch, they might as well take the lights out of Broadway. They might as well take the heart out of Texas. They might as well take the overalls out of Mrs. Mikey's chowder.
Now, Finnegan, don't get over-emotional.
They might as well take the missus out of Mississippi.
Finnegan.
The trees out of Brooklyn. The gravel out of Gertie.
Finnegan, calm yourself.
But, Arch, what are you going to do if they close the place?
What do you mean?
You might have to go back to work.
Look, Finnegan, it ain't going to be that drastic, and if it is, so what? That's life. You got to take the bitter with the sour.
Excuse me.
Huh?
Are you the manager here?
I am that home. And who are you, pray, sir?
I am the attorney from the bank.
Oh, they sent an attorney, huh? Well, that don't scare me none. I would like you to know, sir, that you are dealing with a fellow shyster.
This I can believe.
Thank you. Now, to get down to business, as I have construed from your letter, your bank is trying to get us to disvacuate, unfranchise, and otherwise dispremisate the said premises. Is that correct, sir?
Well, that's the general idea.
I see, and I suppose you realize, sir, that the law clearly states that the present status of the quo per lis per fiscal remains mandamus until you can prove a delectus necktie.
Now, look, Blackstone.
Huh?
All I know is that we're not going to renew your lease.
And for what modus operandi?
For the modus operandi, this place is a dive, that you're always having riots and fights, and that the place is an absolute disgrace to the neighborhood, if not to mankind.
Come, sir, you're taking advantage of a very shabby loophole. But assuming that what you say is correct, what's your solution?
You can move someplace else.
Move someplace else? But what would our customers do, the regulars? Them fine, loyal, lovely people that have given us their support for years.
They can find your new place.
In their condition?
Now, look, young man, I'm a human being. I don't like to be arbitrary, but anyway...
Well, Archie.
Oh, hello, Officer Clancy.
I hear you had another Donnybrook here last night.
An altercation? Oh, perish forbid, Officer Clancy. The boys was just playing a few friendly parlor games.
What games?
Oh, spin the bottle, puss in the corner.
I saw some of them pusses this morning. Now, Archie, I'm warning you. I don't want no more fights in me beat. I'm not getting any younger, and when I'm away from home, I want a little peace and quiet.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough for me. That settles it.
Please, sir, give us one more chance. I guarantee you there won't be no more fights. If anybody so much as lifts his little finger in here, I'll crack him over the skull with a bung starter.
All right, we'll give you one more chance. If there's the slightest disturbance from now on, we're going to close the place.
Okay, sir, and thank you very much for the reprisal. Hello? Hello, Duffy. What? Well, I just got a new lease on life, and Duffy, I got an idea. Well, you know what? The Treacher's coming down here again tonight. And to give this joint some class, see, I'm figuring we'll hire him as a front man. What? Look, Duffy, maybe you think he's a bum, and maybe I think he's a bum, but the fact that he's British gives him class. Huh? Is his accent real? Look, Duffy, if he was any more British, he wouldn't be able to talk at all. And with a high-class, dignified guy like him working here, it'd give us a tea room atmosphere, you know. Tea room, you know, where the palms is potted instead of the customers. Huh? Okay, I'll leave you know.
Listen, Archie.
Yeah, Miss Duffy.
If you want to make this place high class, what's wrong with making me the hostess?
Well, nothing except what we're trying to do is make the place a little more refined.
You mean to tell me that I ain't refined?
You heard me. You ain't refined.
I ain't refined. I ought to bust you in the snoot with a plate.
All right, so you're refined.
Not only that, but there's something about me that when there's other people around me, they act refined, too.
What do you mean?
Many's the time some uncouth fellow will follow me on the street and whistle at me. But the minute I turn around, they look at me and say, "Oh, pardon me."
Duffy, will you keep out of me business here with all this talk?
Archie, I'm an American citizen, and Patrick Henry fought to give me freedom of speech.
Okay, so go talk to Patrick Henry.
Okay. The nerve of that jerk. Me, not refined.
Before we continue with the high-class proceedings here at Duffy's Tavern, lend an ear to the well-known team of Crosby and Hope.
Say, Bing, you got a minute?
Oh, sure, Bob. I got all the time in the world.
Don't tell me you own that, too.
Oh, never mind that stuff. Get to work with it.
Okay. Folks, better tasting Chesterfield is the only cigarette that combines for you mildness with no unpleasant aftertaste. And you can prove that yourself. Just make our mildness test. Buy Chesterfields, then open them and enjoy that milder, mellow aroma. Now light one up, and you'll know Chesterfield's milder because it smokes milder. And Chesterfield leaves no unpleasant aftertaste. That fact has been confirmed by the country's first and only cigarette taste panel.
Yes, mildness and no unpleasant aftertaste are what you and I and every smoker wants.
Hurry up, Dad. Here comes the music.
Chesterfield always takes first place. That mild tobacco never leaves an aftertaste. So open a pack, give 'em a smell, then you'll smoke 'em.
Yasha, what are you laughing at?
Such a funny joke a customer's just telling me.
What's the joke?
This will kill cock robin.
What's the joke?
You want to know?
Yes, I want to know.
Shall I tell her?
Yasha, tell me, what's the joke?
Well, one day a man goes into a butcher shop and asks for a job. So the butcher says, you want a job? So the man says, well, how much do you pay? So the butcher says, $3 a week. So the man says, I'll take it. So the butcher says, can you dress a chicken? So the man says, dress a chicken on $3 a week?
Who told you that crummy joke?
The customer there in the corner. Say, Chief, I'm just thinking, maybe we could give him a job here telling jokes.
Why?
To stop the fights.
You think telling jokes like that would stop fights?
Most of course. It would keep the customer's minds off the food, anyway.
Well, okay, call the guy over. That bank threatening to close this place and won't try anything to stop the fights around here.
Well, Chief, here he is. Happy Dan, the minstrel man.
Hello, Happy.
Glad to meet you, old pal. Yes, sir, glad to meet you. Let it rain, let it drizzle. Happy Dan will make things sizzle. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, as the man said when he walked to the morgue, hello, everybody. Yes, sir, that's just a sample. And speaking of marriage, there's many a man who lives by the sweat of his frow.
Hold it, Happy. Johansson, put down that wooden leg.
The other day, my brother-in-law happened to say to me, Happy, where were you born? I said, Texas. He said, what part? So I said, all of me.
Cut it out. Harrigan, put down that brick.
Sorry, Bud, you missed me. Speaking of food, I was out to my uncle's fruit farm last summer, and I said, what do you do with all the fruit you grow? And he said, we eat what we can, and what we can't, we can. You get it? What we can't, we can.
Throw the bum out. Throw the bum. Quiet, everybody. Stand. Take to the hills. Quiet, everybody. You want to get the joint pinched?
Archie, you took the words right out of me mouth.
Wait a minute, Officer.
You heard what the bankman said.
But look, Clancy.
No alibis, Archie, and this is your last warning. If there's any more trouble, I'm going to dispossess you for the bank, arrest you for the police, and belt you one for myself. And that's final. Goodbye.
Hey, Chief, ain't that Arthur Treacher coming in?
I say, really. Forgive me, I say, but I can't control myself.
Treacher.
Yes, buddy.
Dear. Well, it must be a good joke. Tell me, what is the...
It's a joke I just heard. As I was going home, I'm coming in here. You know what it is? It's awfully good. You'll love it. You'll really love it. We eat what we can and what we can't. It's awfully good. Now, listen, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, you'll die laughing yet. What we can't, we put up in tins.
So you like that joke?
Yes, Archie, yes. I find your American humor simply riotous.
Well, anyway, I'm glad to see you again. You know, you was just here last week, and it ain't often that a guest repeats on us so soon.
Yes, I suppose it does seem rather odd revisiting a filthy hole like this. But you see, I am a criminal.
A criminal?
Yes, I am a criminal returning to the scene of the grime. You see, crime, grime. Get it? Oh, it's awfully good.
I got it, but it's too hot to handle. Look, Treacher, no intent's offended, but I think I like you better when you sneer.
Well, that's jolly decent of you, old man. One might say that I built my sneer into a career. I say that's awfully good.
One might, but leave us let one not, huh? Now, I'm glad you came down, Arthur, though. You see, I've got a proposition for you.
Just a second, old boy. Isn't that Mr. Duffy over there?
Duffy where?
Oh, no, of course not. It's the moose head.
What made you think it was Duffy?
Well, it was such a stupid-looking moose.
I see your point, but confidentially, Duffy ain't got no antlers. Now, like I was saying...
Mr. Treacher, would you please decide an argument between Archie and me? Now, you see, the question is...
Miss Duffy, please.
You keep your big fat yap out of this. The question is, am I or ain't I refined?
Well, old girl, it's hard to say. I haven't had that question put to me since the Duchess of Kent slapped me over the head with a wet salmon.
Mr. Treacher, are you inferring that I am or I ain't refined?
He's inferring that you're a wet salmon. Now start swimming upstream and get out of here. Now look, Arthur, what I started to say was we want to class up this joint, and I figured with a dignified stuffed shirt like you, acting as a front man...
Now, just a second, old boy. You want me to be the Boniface of this costermonger's caravanserai?
Vaguely, that's the point, yeah. And with you here as the head costermonger, it won't have to be such a canveransity, you know? So what do you say? We'll pay you 3 bob and tuppence per fortnight, And we'll guarantee you absolute authority. You're the complete boss of the pub.
I'd be the boss?
Absolutely. You can kick the rest of us around all you want.
The situation is beginning to sound very intriguing.
Thank you.
When do we start?
Anytime you want.
Very well. Turn around.
Preachers. Cut out the jokes and get to work, will you?
Very well. Now, first I would like to meet my staff.
The staff. Oh, very well. Hey, staff.
How do you do?
But, Archie, where are the waiters and the busboys?
How do you do?
Well, what about the scullery maids and the wine stewards?
How do you do?
Well, we'll do the best with what we have.
How do you do?
Now, the first thing I will require is that we place clean tablecloths on the tables.
Clean tablecloths? Preacher, this is only March.
Archie, I have complete authority. Now, you young lady.
Me?
Yes, if you're going to work here, you will please stop chewing gum.
Why?
Because it ain't refined.
Funny you should mention that. My mother always says the same thing.
What?
Mother always says, Miss Duffy, she says, stop chewing. You're not a cow.
Well, all I can say is, stop chewing. Archie?
Yeah?
Get a pail and mop.
A pail and a mop?
Yes, and scrub the floor.
Me scrub the floor? Holy cow, I'm afraid I've created a frankenfurter. But Arthur, it shall be done.
Can you, Slavnik?
Yes?
Get a broom and sweep those cobwebs off the ceiling.
Sweep the covers off the ceiling?
Yes.
Who goes near the ceiling?
The next time you suffer from pains of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia, take Anacin. You'll bless the day you heard of this incredibly fast way to relieve these pains. Now, the reason Anacin is so wonderfully fast-acting and effective is this. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. Thousands of people have received envelopes containing Anacin tablets from their own dentist or physician, and in this way discovered the incredibly fast relief Anacin brings from pains of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. So, the next time a headache strikes, take Anacin for this wonderfully fast relief. Anacin, A-N-A-C-I-N. Anacin comes in handy boxes of 12 and 30, economical family-size bottles of 50 and 100. Get Anacin at any drug counter.
That treats you the way he's kicking us around, we'd be better off if the bank dispossessed us.
Attention, everyone.
Yes.
Teacher.
The Duffy's Tavern improvement class will now come to order.
Class? You mean we're going back to school?
Precisely. I am the teacher, and you are the pupils. Now, I notice that the spelling on the menus is atrocious. Archie, how do you spell filet mignon?
Simple. F-I-L-L-Y.
F-I-L-L-Y, that's a horse.
At Duffy's Tavern, you take what you can get. Next question, please.
How do you spell hors d'oeuvre?
What's that?
Hors d'oeuvre.
Arch, I think that's them horses doobies.
Oh, that's the same thing. F-I-L-L-Y.
No, Archie, that's a different kind of a horse.
Oh, let me see. Hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, I'd like to take a belt at that one.
Very well, Finnegan.
Horses doobies. H-O-R-S-D-O-E-U-V-R-E-S.
Correct!
Finnegan, how did you know?
I didn't. I just took a wild guess.
Teacher's pet. What was that? Teacher's pet?
Thank you. I'd love to.
Miss Duffy, you're in school, not in the Bijou balcony. Proceed ahead, Mr. Treacher.
Our next subject is etiquette.
What's that, Arch?
Adequate? That's manners, like not biting your toenails in public. What's the question on adequate, Mr. Treacher?
Well, when you make change for a customer, what do you say to him?
Well, me, I always say, hey, look at that sign across the street. And when he turns around, I shortchange him.
And what about you, Miss Duffy?
Oh, I'd love to. And what about you?
I'm asking a question. When you're making change for a customer, what do you say to him?
Oh, I say, thank you very much, sir. Why don't you call again real soon?
Miss Duffy, we are making change, not the customer. Now, Yasha, Tanya Slovnik.
How do you do?
When a customer gives you a tip, what is your response?
When a customer gives me a tip, I am bowing my head and saying, new here, ain't you?
Just a second now, Treacher. You're supposed to be the front man here. Now, leave us ask you a question. What would you do, for instance, if a high-class customer like Machine Gun Van Smythe or Deems Taylor walked in? How would you greet him?
Well, I think it would be appropriate to tell Mr. Taylor that I admired his commentary on Beethoven's Fifth.
Beethoven's fifth what?
His fifth wife, you jerk.
You are thinking of Henry VIII.
That's a symphony.
Okay, so it's a symphony. What's that got to do with Deems Taylor?
Which Deems Taylor? The fifth or the eighth?
Beethoven's eighth.
Please. The class will come to order.
Hey, teacher, I just made up a poem.
What's the poem?
Swimming in the river, rowing in a boat. We got a teacher that's a skinny old goat.
Finnegan, I heard that. Archie, hand me that bung starter.
What are you going to do?
You'll see. Hold still, Finnegan.
Oh!
Hey, Treacher, watch out with that bung starter.
And here's one for you, Tanya Slovnik. Ouch! Oh, I say, that was a jolly one.
Treacher, what's the matter with you? What's got into you? Johansson, put down that wooden leg. Halligan, put down that chair. Hey, Kelly, put down that beer bottle.
What goes on here?
Officer Clancy, you stay out of this.
Archie, I warned you about these fights, and this is the last time tonight.
Hello, Duffy. He's down. Oh, it's a very quiet night here, Duffy. What are you doing tonight? Going to the movies, huh? Well, Duffy, if you're running away to the movies and you pass a saloon with a for rent sign, grab it. Quick.
Here's a word from RCA Victor. Inch for inch, your best buy in television is RCA Victor 19-inch. Yes, a great many families have taken this advice to heart and bought the thrilling RCA Victor 19-inch. Truly the most exciting buy in television. When you buy television, remember that the set you choose will be the very hub of your home for years to come. So, select the screen size you'll really want most. The bigger and better RCA Victor 19-inch pictures are the just right size for family viewing. Big enough to watch from across the room, and yet so clear and sharp you can sit up close. That's RCA Victor's million-proof quality for you. Quality proven in over 2 million homes. Your dealer can show you RCA Victor 19-inch television in a table model, a console floor model, or a combination television radio phonograph. See them, learn why, inch for inch, your best buy in television is RCA Victor 19-inch. Listen again next week, friends, to Duffy's Tavern, the Friday night transcribed feature on NBC's All-Star Festival of Comedy, Music, Mystery, and Drama. Brought to you by Chesterfield, the cigarette that has for you mildness with no unpleasant aftertaste. The best cigarette for you to smoke. By the makers of Anacin for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, neuralgia. And by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. Listen tomorrow evening for The Man Called X, starring Herbert Marshall, the Saturday night feature of the All-Star Festival. Duffy's Tavern, the Friday night transcribed feature on NBC's All-Star Festival of Comedy, Music, Mystery, and Drama. Brought to you by the makers of Anacin for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. By RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. And by Chesterfield, the cigarette that has for you what every smoker wants. Mildness plus no unpleasant aftertaste. The cigarette that brings you Bing Crosby and Bob Hope. And now, here we go, friends, to Duffy's Tavern with Arthur Treacher, Bert Gordon as the Mad Russian, Hazel Sherman as Miss Duffy, our guest, Artie Shaw, and starring Archie himself, Ed Gardner.
Hello, Duffy's Tavern. Where do you leave me to eat? Archie the manager speaking. Duffy ain't here. Oh, hello, Duffy. Guess what? I finally caught the guy that's been stealing our meatballs. Yeah. He's been putting numbers on them and selling them to pool parlors. By the way, Duffy, I'm expecting you at the block party tomorrow night. Huh? Oh, don't worry. This year, I guarantee you won't have no trouble getting Mrs. Duffy in. No, they widened the street. Well, it's going to be very social, Duffy. Everybody who is anybody on 3rd Avenue will be there. Cavendish the Undertaker and Lady Cavendish, unless he digs up another date. And there's Pharaoh Farouk, the wealthy Egyptian obelisk designer. No-Nose Cortez, the successful goat's milk taster. No Fingers Noonan, the unsuccessful butcher. Let me see, who else? Oh, yes, One-Eyed Gold Bob and his daughter Cyclops. And, of course, as usual, Herbie the Midget and his 2 little sisters, Blur and Invisible. Okay, Duffy, I'll see you at the party. Oh, Treacher, did you make a list of the things we're going to need for the block party?
Yes, I'm working on the list right now. Let me see. Smelling salts, bandages, plasma, splints.
Treacher, the party won't be that rough.
Oh, no? Aren't you expecting the same elite group that attended last year?
Well, yes, we are.
Smelling salts, bandages, plasma, splints.
This year with me running, it'll be bigger and genteeler than ever.
Biggest party we ever had on the block, huh?
Well, with me as the head, I think it should be.
I agree. You would make a perfect blockhead.
Thank you very much.
I say, what's the smell? Something burning in the kitchen?
I beg your pardon. This happens to be my new perfume.
Who are you trying to impress, goats?
Don't be so smart. You know, tomorrow night is the block party, so I just came from the beauty parlor.
What's the matter? Was they closed?
Very funny.
I say, Miss Duffy, what kind of a beauty operator did you have?
What do you mean?
They didn't touch your fingernails, but your toenails were painted a bright red.
Yeah, why the toenails?
I'm going with Herbie the Midget. Listen, by the way, Archie, when the dancing starts tomorrow night, I wish you'd do me a favor.
What?
Please tell Cavendish the Undertaker not to cut in on people.
Why not? Ain't he a good dancer?
Sure. Only when Cavendish taps you on the shoulder, it makes you kind of nervous.
Hey, that reminds me, Miss Duffy, if we're going to have dancing, I got to do something about an orchestra. Treacher, we got a theatrical trade paper around here?
Yeah, here's a copy of Variety.
Good. Now, leave us look up the dance bands. Let's see here. Dance band available. Mrs. Phil Spitalny and her all-male orchestra. Featuring Mendel and his magic glockenspiel. Now, that Mendel sounds like a show-off.
I say, here's one that might answer the purpose.
Let's see. Artie Shaw. Clarinet player and retired husband. Now at liberty. Seeking new engagements. I wonder which kind.
I don't think he'd want to get married again.
Why not?
Well, I understand he's a very brilliant man. I don't think he'd make the same mistake more than 5 times.
I guess you're right. Let's see the ad here now. Artie Shaw's 6 syncopators available immediately. I thought the guy had more than 6, Treacher.
That figure refers to the number of musicians in his band.
Oh. Well, why do you say we give him a ring and see if we can hook him for the block party, Hello, information? I'd like to get Artie Shaw. So would you? Well, honey, you better get in line and wait your turn. Well, he'll get to you sooner or later. What's that? What's the number? Okay. Hello? Hello, Artie? This is Archie from Duffy's Tavern. I just seen your ad in Variety, and I got a great opportunity for you. A block party. Now, just a minute, Artie. We got a lot to offer, you know. For instance, we got an ideal location for you. There's a little church right around the corner. We play our cards right, maybe for you to put in curb service. The pay, well, it's pretty high, but maybe if we haggle a bit, we'll come down. Well, look, why don't you come over and we'll talk it over? Okay. How do you like that? Looks like I'm going to get Artie Shaw for the block party. I can already see them initials on the bass drum. Artie Shaw's Syncopators. In big red letters, ASS.
How do you do?
Ain't the mad Russian. Russian, what can I do for you?
Sir, I am offering you my professional services. My card.
But Russian, this card is a blank.
At the moment, I am not working. By the by, I hear you are hiring musicians for the block party tomorrow night.
Yes, I'm figuring on getting Artie Shaw.
This is a musician. You are hiring Artie Shaw when I'm available with my kazoo?
Kazoo? And you're a musician?
In music school, I am known as a second Rimsky of Korsakov. Just primp up your ears and give a little listen.
Okay, the primp.
Tell me, sir, are you fond of music?
Yeah, but keep right on playing. Wait a minute. What is that?
Home, sweet home.
It's terrible.
You should see my home.
Look, Russian, take that kazoo and blow, will you? Now, look, gang, tomorrow night, this time, you know what's going to happen? We'll all be outdoors having real fun at the block party.
Oh, I'm already looking forward to it.
So am I.
Yeah, huh?
Yes, it was such a relief to get out of this place and breathe some of that nice, fresh carbon monoxide.
The next time you suffer from pains of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia, take Anacin. You'll bless the day you heard of this incredibly fast way to relieve these pains. Now, the reason Anacin is so wonderfully fast-acting and effective is this. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. Thousands of people have received envelopes containing Anacin tablets from their own dentist or physician, and in this way discovered the incredibly fast relief Anacin brings from pains of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. So, the next time a headache strikes, take Anacin for this wonderfully fast relief. Anacin, A-N-A-C-I-N. Anacin comes in handy boxes of 12 and 30, economical family-size bottles of 50 and 100. Get Anacin at any drug counter.
Hey, Treachy, you're good at figures. You want to look over this budget I made up for the block party?
A budget? Let me see. Income from sale of tickets, $22. Cost of printing tickets, $22. Net profit, $22. Archie, if you sell them for $22 and they cost you $22, how do you figure a net profit of $22?
Simple. We don't pay the printer. Continue.
Estimated cost of Arthur Shaw, $15. $15? Why, that wouldn't keep Mr. Shaw in bridal bouquets.
What are you talking? He's only got 6 pieces at $15. That's almost $3 a man. Hey, Treachy, tell that guy we don't want no fish today. Now, wait a minute. It's Artie Shaw. Put down that hard caller, will you? Now, leave me welcome into Duffy's Tavern. I'm sure you'll feel right at home here.
Why?
I smell trouble with this guy. Well, a lot of people think of the tavern as sort of a musician's retreat.
Retreat? It looks more to me like a mass surrender.
I see you're very snappy with the insults, Mr. Shaw.
Thank you.
You should be. You've had enough wives to practice with.
Whoever got a chance to open his mouth. Besides, I was only kidding about the tavern, Arch. In fact, I envy you. I find myself wishing I had your job here.
My job? I don't do nothing.
That's what I mean.
Wonder if this guy could blow that clarinet without teeth. Look, Shaw, I'm willing to put up with a certain modicum of insults, but don't carry it too far.
Are you looking for trouble?
Me? Cowardly little me looking for trouble? Trouble with a fellow musician?
You, Arch, a musician?
Yeah, piano man. You see, we're buddies, and you want me to fight. Don't play nothing fancy, of course, just an old-fashioned piano.
Upright?
Well, until I've had a few drinks. Then I slump over a little. Enough of this shop talk, Artie. Leave us to get business. Huh?
Okay.
Okay. Well, tell me, what's new? Married any good wives lately?
Now, look, Archie, please. I thought we were going to forget about shop talk.
I'm sorry, Artie. No offense offended. I guess you're kind of fed up with marriage, huh?
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly. If my type of girl came along, I think I might get married again.
Mr. Shaw, would you please repeat that remark?
I said, if the right kind of girl came along, I might get married again.
Hello, Papa? Tell Mama to start crying. Yeah, I think I found the sucker.
What is this?
Artie, this is Miss Duffy, sometimes known as a girl.
Holy smoking, I just said I'd be willing to get married.
Likewise, I'm sure. Well? Well, don't just stand there. Marry me.
Miss Duffy, cut it out, will you?
Well, you heard him. He said himself he was waiting for Miss Wright to come along.
But he just inferred that you were the wrong Miss Wright.
How will he know until he marries me?
He ain't gonna marry you. He's had enough trouble with that trial and error method. That right, Artie?
That's right. Besides, Miss Duffy, maybe you'd be making a mistake. Maybe you wouldn't like me as a husband.
I'm different.
Now, look, just how do you know? I mean, have you ever been married?
Just 2/3 married.
What do you mean? What do you mean 2/3?
She was there and the preacher was there, but the guy didn't show up.
Very funny. I'll have you know I can get all the fellas I want. Do you know that right now I have 2 dates in front of Kelly's pool room tonight at 8:30?
Yeah? With who?
How do I know who'll be in front of Kelly's pool room tonight at 8:30? Get it?
Look, I know two guys that won't be in front of Kelly's pool room tonight at 8:30.
Who?
Me and Artie Shaw. Now beat it and get back to the cash register. This man has had enough trouble with dames. Give him a chance to get off the floor.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Now, what is this?
This is the next case. Meet the Mad Russian.
It is indeed charming to make an acquaintance. Mr. Shaw, I understand you two are a student of music.
Well, I've studied a little.
Well, tell me, sir, as one musician to another, what do you think of the key of C?
Look, Artie, you'll have to excuse the Mad Russian.
Well, what's the matter with him?
Well, he thinks he's a musician, you see. Before he was born, his mother was frightened by a Fred Waring arrangement.
I see. Tell me, mister, or whatever you may be.
To be or not to be? What is the question?
What instrument do you play?
The instrument?
Yeah, the instrument.
First, kazoo.
Kazoo? What do you use to accompany you?
A bodyguard. I am also playing a piccolo.
Alto?
No, dill. Also, I am playing a bugle.
The bugle? Let me hear you.
So sorry, I am only playing by inspiration. You see, when it's a beautiful spring day and the mood strikes me, I go out into the woods and I blow my bugle.
And what comes out?
Boy Scouts.
Russian, you better go get your head blocked for the party. Now beat it.
Say, Art, speaking of this block party, do you want the boys and me to play for you?
Do I want you to play? Well, you're under consideration. It depends on the price. Now, tell me, how much will your band cost us?
Well, let's say $5,000.
Yeah, let's say it. See how it sounds. Then we'll forget it. Now, I'll repeat the question. What will your band cost us?
$5,000.
I'm afraid it's a little high.
Well, what were you figuring on paying?
$15. Sound attractive?
Well, perhaps if I come down a little, you'll come up a little.
Well, I said $15, but if I got to come up a little, I better start with 10. Now, leave us negotiate.
Okay. I'll take $1,900.
I'll go to 11.
18.
12.
17.
13.
16.
14.
15.
It's a deal. $15. Okay, Artie?
No, Archie, just a second.
Look, Artie, this block party is for charity, see?
What charity?
Well, it's for the widows and orphans.
Whose widows and orphans?
The ones from last year's block party.
Well, if it's for charity, I'll tell you what I'll do.
What'll you do?
I'll let you have the band at the minimum union scale.
Minimum, huh? How much is that?
Oh, practically nothing.
Well, that's a little closer to what I had in mind. Okay, Artie, we got a deal. Leave us shake, huh?
Okay, shake.
Shake. Right away, huh? What's the minimum scale?
$30 a man, $180.
$30 a man? Artie, let's cancel the shake.
Sorry, Archie, the union says a handshake deal is a deal.
But $180 for a band, for that kind of dough, I could get Spike Jones. And with that washboard, he'd probably do me laundry, too.
Here's a word from RCA Victor. Why do more people choose RCA Victor television than any other make? The reason can be summed up in just one word: quality. Million-proof quality, proven in over 2 million homes. RCA Victor television is America's favorite television because, feature for feature, it's America's finest television with RCA Victor. For example, you enjoy clear, bright, steady pictures that are locked in place by RCA Victor's exclusive Eyewitness Picture Synchronizer. You choose your set from 14 separate models, available in a wide variety of distinctive cabinets, every one a masterpiece of superb engineering and quality craftsmanship. And remember, only when you buy RCA Victor television can you buy the RCA Victor factory service contract for expert installation and maintenance. Next chance you get, Step into your RCA Victor dealers and look over the very finest television in America today. RCA Victor million-proof television, proven in over 2 million homes.
Let me see. There's 6 men in a band. The minimum is $30 a man. Now, at times the 6 by 3. Divide the 3 by naught. That's 300. Shove over the Zypher. Muscle in at the decimal point. That's right. It figures to $180. I got to do something about that $30 a man. Artie.
Yes, Arch.
That 6-man band. I was wondering, would you mind letting me hit him play?
Look, Arch, we never audition.
It ain't addition so much I got in mind. It's subtraction. What do you say? Can I hit him?
You expect me to audition for a broken-down block party?
Okay, don't audition. We'll get somebody else to play at the block party for them 300 unattached blondes.
Playboys.
Kid, that was great.
Well, thanks, Jester.
Yep, there's only one thing.
What's that?
6 guys in the band. Can't we cut it down?
But 5 doesn't sound big enough.
Sounded big enough when Papa Dion did it. Artie, do you need that trumpet player? Why don't we see what it sounds like without him, huh?
Oh, okay.
Artie, look, Artie, that guy playing the baboon.
The what?
The guy on the sliding baboon. Do we need him?
What's wrong with him?
To me, the guy looks like a troublemaker. Why don't we try it just once without him?
Oh, but Arch.
Please, no arguments. We'll try it as a quartet. Artie, that's wonderful.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, terrific. I was just thinking now, about that piano player. I think he's dogging the left hand.
But Arch, the man's been with me for years now.
That's just it. He's taking advantage of you. He knows you're blowing that clarinet so loud you can't hear him when he's gold bricking. Take a tip, Artie. Get rid of the guy.
Oh, but Arch, now look.
Remember, you ain't the only band in town. For $30 a man, I can get Jose Horowitz and his Pitkin Avenue cucarachas. Now, leave us try it with what's left, huh? Go ahead. Give him the deadbeat. Just a minute, Artie. You know, that was practically it.
Well, good.
Yep. I think we're almost getting down to what I want. Except for that saxophone player.
What's wrong with the saxophone player?
Well, nothing personal, but he looks a little like Rudy Valley.
Now, just a second.
Sorry, Artie, this is a must. The sax has to go.
We've already got rid of 4 members of the band. That leaves us with only clarinet and drums.
Is there that many left? Well, the drum can help carry the melody. Why don't you try it?
All right.
Artie, stop it. Please, that's terrible.
Well, what's the matter now?
That band is the worst band I ever heard.
Well, what do you expect from just clarinet and drums?
What do I expect? Look, you're supposed to be the musician. Why didn't you think of that before you organized the band?
All right, well, what are we going to do about it?
Well, if you listen to me, I think I can point out where the weakness is.
Who? Me?
No, the drummer.
I was sort of hoping it was me.
What? Artie, come here. Why does a guy like you need a drummer? Heifetz goes it alone. Why don't you? Go ahead, try it solo, acapella. Well, that's a little more like it. Yes, sir. The band sounds terrific, Artie.
Thanks a lot.
Good. Now, where do we stand?
Well, you now have 1. Would you like to try for nothing?
Just a minute. Artie, how much did you say this minimum is per man?
$30.
That'd be great. You've heard that competition is the life of trade.
Yes.
Would you mind if I auditioned another band?
Not a bit.
Oh, Russian.
You are calling me.
Let me hear you play Home Sweet Home on that kazoo again. Artie, now leave me hear that clarinet again. Thank you. Artie, I'm sorry, old man.
You mean?
You have just been kazooed out of $30. I'm sorry, kid. I'm afraid you won't be able to use your clarinet.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to use it all right.
What do you mean you're going to use it? Hey, what are you doing? Ow!
Hello? Oh, hello, Mr. Duffy. Oh, yes, Archie got along famously with Artie Shaw. In fact, one could say he was quite struck by his clarinet.
Hey, Bing, you got a minute?
Oh, sure, Bob. I got all the time in the world.
Don't tell me you own that, too.
Oh, never mind that stuff. Get to work with it.
Okay. Folks, better tasting Chesterfield is the only cigarette that combines for you mildness with no unpleasant aftertaste. And you can prove that yourself. Just make our mildness test. Buy Chesterfields, then open them and enjoy that milder, mellow aroma. Now light one up, and you'll know Chesterfield's milder because it smokes milder. And Chesterfield leaves no unpleasant aftertaste. That fact has been confirmed by the country's first and only cigarette taste panel.
Yes, mildness and no unpleasant aftertaste are what you and I and every smoker want.
Hurry up, Dad. Here comes the music.
Chesterfield always takes first place. That milder, mild tobacco never leaves an aftertaste.
Oh, ho, open the pack and give 'em a smell.
Then you'll smoke 'em.
Listen again next week, friends, to Duffy's Tavern, the Friday night transcribed feature on NBC's All-Star Festival of Comedy, Music, Mystery, and Drama. Brought to you by the makers of Anacin for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. By RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. And by Chesterfield, the cigarette that has for you what every smoker wants. Mildness plus no unpleasant aftertaste. Listen tomorrow evening for The Man Called X, starring Herbert Marshall, the Saturday night feature of the All-Star Festival.
Tavern, starring Archie himself, Ed Gardner.
And now, here we go, friends, to Duffy's Tavern, with Bert Gordon as the Mad Russian, Hazel Shermitt as Miss Duffy, our guest, Rudy Valley, and starring Archie himself, Ed Gardner.
Duffy's Tavern, where do you eat meat to eat? Archie the manager speaking. Duffy ain't here. Oh, hello, Duffy. How's business? The place is overflowing. Yep, the sewer's busted again. Yeah. Which reminds me, Rudy Valley's coming down tonight. Rudy Valley. Well, remember the time you bought your first radio and when you turned it on, you thought there was something wrong with it? Yeah, that's the guy. How'd he get started? Well, he studied for 8 years before he found out he couldn't sing. By then it was too late to stop. Yes, sir, and he turned out to be very successful. Did he what? Did he save his money? Duffy, did you hear that? Even the operator's laughing. Duffy, at Yale, they used to have a song called Boola Boola. Since Valley went there, they call it Moola Moola. Well, look, I'll call you back. I'm busy writing a new radio show for Rudy. Hey, Miss Duffy.
Yes, Archie.
I wonder if Rudy will be happy here tonight in our creaky old joint.
Why not? He's a little creaky in the joints himself.
Miss Duffy, you're talking about the Rudy Valley.
Rudy Valley? Who's he? A sober Phil Harris.
Miss Duffy, please, have a little reverence for the departed. Don't forget, a guy like Rudy Valley gives us prestige here. Take a look at this menu I wrote up for the occasion.
Let me see it. Today only, the Rudy Valley Blue Plate, Connecticut Yankee Pot Roast, Vagabond Liver, New England Ham.
Yeah, it's boiled ham.
How do you know what condition he'll be in when he gets here?
Duffy, Rudy never gets in that condition,
Say, Archie, a man just came in and dropped a penny in the peanut machine.
So what?
I think it must be Rudy Valley.
Well, why do you think it's Valley?
He's counting the peanuts.
That's right, it is Rudy Valley.
My time is your time. Your time is my time.
Well, Rudy, I'm glad to see you. Look at you. I can see that you're the same old Rudy.
What do you mean?
Well, the way you came in singing, so generous and unstinting with your talent, singing for all mankind, whether they want to hear you or not.
A dubious compliment.
Well, dubious is as dubious does. And, may I further say that you are looking as handsome as ever, and golden curly locks, and that svelte, youthful figure, and them svelte eyes. By the way, speaking of them eyes of yours, Rudy, which side of the 38th parallel was you born on?
Archie, I shall ignore your insults. May I further say that you are the same old Archie?
That's a lousy insult.
Say, Archie.
Yeah?
I'd like to meet Rudy Valley.
Well, why the sudden interest? You've been saying that you're young enough to be his daughter.
So what? With Rudy Valley, anybody young enough to be his daughter is old enough to be his wife.
Well, okay, I'll introduce you. Rudy, I know you came down here tonight to enjoy yourself, but this is Miss Duffy.
Looks like a Harvard man.
Gee, just imagine. Rudy Valley in person.
That's right, my dear. You may now faint.
Oh, thank you. Rudy Valley. That voice. Those nostrils. Fill the steins to dear old maid sharp so the rift is reed.
Why, Miss Duffy, I didn't think you were old enough to remember the Maine Stein song.
Are you kidding? This dame remembers the Maine.
Quiet, Archie. You know something, Mr. Valley? Last week I wrote to NBC for a picture of a star. And guess what?
What?
They sent me a picture of you.
Oh, framed?
I sure was. I wanted Cary Grant.
Miss Duffy, I am now going to say something to you that I've never said to a woman before.
Oh, really? What?
Scram.
If it wasn't for his age, I'd punch him right in the nose.
Get out of here, will you?
No, Archie. I assume that you had an ulterior motive in requesting my presence here tonight.
On the contrary, I did. Rudy, I got a great opportunity for you to make...
Money?
Well, it could run into it fast, but first tell me, how's your voice this century?
Oh, about the same as last.
Well, I got a radio program in mind that...
Would you like to hear me sing?
How avid. Well, yeah, go ahead. Let me hear how you sound these days.
Very well.
Terrific, Rudy. Still the same old ballad.
I haven't sung yet.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Well, here, I'll give you the key.
All right. If you were the only girl in the world, and I were the only boy, nothing else would matter in this world today. We could go on loving in the same old way, a garden of Eden just made for two, with nothing to mar our joy. I would say such wonderful things to you. There would be such wonderful things to do if you were the only girl in the world, and I were the only boy.
Bravado, sheer bravado. No, you sounded just like Carmen Lombardo.
Another dubious compliment.
That's what Carmen Lombardo said. But for radio, you know, just singing is old hat these days. You got to augment it up with something else. You got to be a singing cowboy or a singing disc jockey or a singing commercial. You know, that's where I got an idea for a frightening mistress. You are going to be a singing detective.
A singing detective?
Yep, sort of a combination Thin Man and Margaret Truman. And as I told you, Rudy, it'll be really frightening.
What about a sponsor?
Stop worrying. Duffy will sponsor it.
What about a script?
Stop worrying. It's already wrote.
Who wrote it?
Me.
It will be frightening.
Stop worrying, will you?
What about the salary?
Rudy, start worrying. Now, okay, everybody, we're going to do a rehearsal of the first episode of The Hummer. By the way, Howard Hull, you're the announcer here. I'd like you to read the commercials.
Oh, joy.
Now, with these commercials, you have to be subtle about them and kind of sneak them in.
Sneak them in?
Yeah. Okay, we're on the air. Ladies and gents of the radio audience, Duffy's Tavern brings you The Hummer, starring Rudy Valley.
My crime is your crime.
Now, a word from our sponsor.
Suckers.
Thank you. See the way they sneak them in? Now, we begin. I, Archie, am the Hummer's assistant. Him and me is a couple of private eyes, but we never cross each other. We are in our office, and the Hummer is sitting at his desk. Before him is a book of poetry and a bottle. The book is unopened. I speak. I say, Hummer, why don't you lay off of that poetry?
I can't help it. Me nerves is on edge. Why, I ain't the man I used to be. Archie, this grammar.
What's wrong with it?
The word ain't.
Look, Rudy, a lot of people ain't using the word ain't, but they ain't eating. Now, continue. Now, we're sitting in our office when suddenly... Just a second. Hummer, what was that ring?
The telephone.
What a deduction. The man is positively psychopathiatric. Hello? What? Somebody's been murdered? Okay, we'll be right over. Let's go, Hummer.
What's the address?
Gazooks, I forgot to ask. Hello? Where? Oh, thanks. All right, leave us go, Hummer. Well, sir, we arrived at the scene of the crime. A mansion in Beverly Hills. Rococo, but simple. With a well-kept 9-hole golf course on a small island in the middle of the swimming pool. We rang the doorbell. Suddenly, the door creakingly opened, and we found ourselves face to face with something real sinister. How do you do? Tell me, sir, who are you?
I am Rasputin, the Chinese butler.
Well, I guess that clears you. Tell us, Rasputin, where is the late demented corpse?
There on the floor. The dead one. Tis my master, Mr. Throckmorton. Forgive him for not rising.
Well, Hummer, leave us examine the corpus delicti. Looks to me like he took poison internally.
Poison? Poison? Then how do you account for this large ice pick stuck in his back?
Hummer, you're a genius. Hummer, you're humming. Hummer, does this mean that you have found a clue?
Yes. Archie, remove your hat.
Why, is the dead man a woman?
No. He was a Yale man.
Amazing, Hummer. How can you tell that he was a Yale man?
Elementary, my dear Archie. Notice his attire. A derby hat and a raccoon coat.
Gazooks. As I see it, there's only one thing to do. Examine the ice pick.
What ice pick?
The one stuck in his back.
Oh, that one.
Just a minute, gentlemen. Before you examine the ice pick, I should like to wipe off my fingerprints.
A fair request.
One moment, my good man. Who are you?
Hummer, it's Rasputin, the Chinese butler that answered the door when we came in.
Oh, yes, I never forget a face.
Tell me, Rasputin, before the murder was committed, did you notice anything strange around the house?
Outside of me?
Yes.
Well, this morning, Mrs. Throckmorton, the widow, sent me out to have the ice pick sharpened. And as I am leaving, she is phoning the insurance company.
Words. We're looking for clues. Think. Think, my good man. Something unusual must have happened.
Well, let me see. The widow also sent me out for a sawed-off shotgun and a bottle of poison.
Ah, this is getting us no place. No clues, no suspects. And yet I am sure that a crime has been committed.
I agree with you, Hummer. There's something afoot. What do we do, Hummer?
We'll question the widow, Throckmorton.
Gazooks, what a brain. Never leaves a dame unturned.
And here comes Mrs. Throckmorton now.
Hello, tall, curly, and nasal. Glad you could come up and see the body.
Tell me, are you thinking, Hummer?
Yes, but back to business. Widow Throckmorton, allow me to introduce myself. I am the Hummer, tracker of men.
Likewise, I'm sure.
Mrs. Throckmorton, there's probably nothing to be alarmed about, but we have found your husband extremely dead, with an ice pick in his back. Mrs. Throckmorton, you realize what I'm saying? Your husband has been cruelly murdered.
Eek.
Mrs. Throckmorton, I hope you don't mind if we interrogate you.
No, I love it.
Well, tell me, Mrs. Throckmorton, before you married your husband, what did you do for a living?
I was a chorus girl. I was known as Ice Pick Nellie.
And why did they call you Ice Pick Nellie?
Oh, I don't know. Just a nickname.
Nothing but blind alleys.
Oh, butler.
You are calling me...
Who are you?
The butler.
Oh, yes, I never forget a face. Tell me, do you know who killed your master?
Natch.
You do? Well, tell us.
You think I'm a tattletale?
Butler, you mean...
I'm dummying up.
There's something suspicious about this whole thing. It gets bafflinger and bafflinger.
I've got it. I think I know we can find a clue.
Where can we find a clue, Hummer?
At Yale University.
Why, of course. It's obvious. Shall we go?
As the last rose of summer said to the other last rose of summer, leave us wither away.
Okay, leave us wither away.
Friends, if you want to wither away, eat at Duffy's Tavern. And be sure to try our steaks. The club steaks are personally clubbed by the manager. And now, back to our story.
And so we arrived at Yale University, where the Hummer came face to face with his old dean. The dean spoke.
How do you do?
A dizzy dean.
Dean, I regret to report that old Throckmorton, class of 1861, has been seriously murdered.
You don't mean...
Yes, Dean. But he was a true Yale man to the end. He died with his derby and his raccoon coat on.
Good for Throckmorton. At last he had made skull and bones. Tell me, what happened to him?
An ice pick in the back. And, Dean, we thought you might know who killed him.
I'll tell you who killed him. It was... Who? I'm dummying up.
And so, once again, history repeated itself. The Hummer learned nothing at Yale. So, we continued our search for clues from one end of the globe to the other. India, New Zealand, Hialeah, Asia Minor, Far Rockaway.
Hialeah.
We even went to Antwerp and talked to the Twerps. It was in Antwerp that we discovered that the ice pick was manufactured in Norway. This meant only one thing: Argentina. While we were sitting in a cafe in Argentina, a few strolling pampers came in and began to sing an old opera tune. Howard, an old opera tune.
Friends, I'd like to take this opera tune moment to tell you about the drinks at Duffy's Tavern. Remember, a drink at Duffy's is good for your stomach. Ask the man who had one. Now, back to our play.
And so we continued our search. From Stockholm to Oslo. From the Skagerrak to the Kattegat. Then, suddenly, the Hummer started humming. This could only mean one thing: Scotland. The next morning, we found ourselves in the heart of Scotland. Scotland Yard itself. We was greeted by Inspector McIntyre.
How do you, Hootman?
You are a Scotchman?
In this sky, do you think I'm playing Little Lever?
Oh, I'm sorry, Inspector. We have no time for fragilities. We're looking for clues.
Well, you've got a bro brecht mulech nicht nicht What sort of clues, Hootman, are you looking for?
Inspector, we're looking for the cad who murdered a Yale man in his old raccoon coat.
Was this Yale man wearing a derby hood?
Aye.
Is he having an ice pick in his back?
Aye. Do you ken anything about the case?
I'm dumbing up.
And so the search went on. We left Scotland and sailed for Juneau, Alaska.
Juneau? About the food at Duffy's Tavern? Just ask the man who's been there. He'll tell you where to go.
Thank you, Howard. And we continue. After many months of fruitless search, we returned to America and the Throckmorton mansion. The butler spoke.
How do you? Hey, it's you again.
This man is beastly familiar. Archie, who is he?
Hummer, don't you remember? It's Rasputin, the butler.
Oh, yes. I never forget a face.
Rasputin, is there any new clues?
Only one. Yesterday we had some highballs, and we had to use the ice pick, but don't worry. We stuck it right back into Mr. Throckmorton.
Just a second.
Quiet, everybody. The Hummer is thinking. There may be a solution to this crime yet.
Europa, the solution. I have it.
What is it, Hummer?
Archie, take the corpse's fingerprints.
Okay. Wait. Hummer, the corpse has no fingers. Only claws. What does this mean?
Archie, remove his derby hat. Yank out the ice pick and tell me what you see.
Gazooks, it ain't a Yale man at all. It's only a polar bear rug. Hummer, does this mean...
Yes. There is no Mr. Throckmorton. There is no body.
You mean...
It was a perfect crime that was never committed.
Hummer, you're a genius. Well, Rudy, tell me, what do you think of it as a radio play?
What do I think of it?
Yeah. Rudy, no. Rudy, stop humming at me that way. I know what you're thinking. Rudy, put down that ice pick. Rudy.
Duffy. Yeah, well, have a good time and we'll be with you next week.
It's time to leave Duffy's Tavern for now, but be sure to be with us again next time for another hilarious get-together at everybody's favorite tavern.
KERA-FM, Dallas.
To Duffy's Tavern.
Hello, Duffy's Tavern, where the elite meat eat. Archie the manager speaking. Duffy ain't here. Oh, hello, Duffy. The crowd, a lot of servicemen tonight. Yeah, the place is a regular separation center. Already I've had to separate 3 guys. By the way, you know who came in tonight? Lefty O'Rourke. Yeah, he's out of uniform now. No, Duffy, not on points, on parole. Yeah, Lefty says he just couldn't get along with the warden, you know, and one of them had to go. Well, you know, the warden's been pretty solid. Well, I don't know. O'Rourke was very popular up there, Duffy. In fact, he claims they voted him the man most likely to return. Say, by the way, speaking of getting out of jail, Eddie, the waiter, is thinking of leaving us. What do you mean, so what? Eddie's a very valuable man. Huh? Well, I admit he ain't very fast on his feet, but he's got a great knack for serving hash without that guilty expression on his face. Yeah. Well, I think he got an offer from Grogan's Grill. Well, don't worry. I'll talk him out of it, Duffy. You know the old line. Gratitude, chance for advancement. All we've done for him. Money ain't everything. Yeah, the old sucker pitch. Well, certainly he'll bite. Don't I fall for it every time I ask for a raise? Well, just leave it to me, Duffy. I'll call you back. So long. Eddie, there's a rumor around that you have had an offer from Grogan's Grill.
Uh-huh.
And the rumor also says that you're thinking of taking it.
And keep your eye on that rumor. It's got a future.
Look, Eddie, you're not serious. Where did you get this idea about leaving?
I just looked into my wallet and there it was.
But, kid, this is madness. You can't leave here. Why, you're a part of Duffy's Tavern.
Yeah, the part that goes over the cash register last.
Just a second now, Eddie. Is it that you feel that Duffy ain't done right by you?
Well, now you know yourself that when it comes to blowing that horn of plenty, he ain't no Harry James.
Eddie, leave us discuss this. I think if you're fair-minded, I can show you that you're making a mistake. Now answer me. Do you object to working 7 days a week?
Definitely.
And I suppose you object to putting in 15 hours a day.
Very definitely.
I suppose you also object to not being paid no salary.
Extremely definitely.
Eddie, I'm afraid you didn't enter this discussion with an open mind. Don't you realize there's more important things than money?
Yeah, but they all cost money. Look, Mr. Archie, now, I'd like to have a salary. I just can't get along on the tips I collect.
Now, don't hear me that, Eddie. I've seen nights when you walked out of here with enough quarters to choke a horse.
Or kill him with lead poisoning. Mr. Archie, I just can't do it. In addition to the tips, I think I ought to have $1 a week salary.
How does 35 cents hit you?
It don't even muff my hair.
All right, then go ahead and quit. It's hard to think that you take this attitude toward a man who's been your friend. Almost your brother. Through thick and thin. Laughter and tears.
Be sure to listen to Stella Dallas at the same time.
Okay, go ahead. Stop that friendship.
Hello, Eddie.
Finnegan, what is your opinion of a man that bites the hand that feeds him?
Well, some people will eat anything. Why, what's your trouble?
It's Eddie here. He wants to get paid more money.
Money? Eddie, my boy, money is nothing. You know what I always say? What? Be it ever so humble, there's no place like home.
What's that got to do with money?
Well, we owe 6 months' rent.
Thanks, Finnegan. You're a big help. Now, look, Eddie, I think you're confused about this whole thing. What you need is a real nice vacation. Tell you what to do.
What?
Take the rest of the day off.
That would only add to the confusion. I wouldn't know what to do with a day off.
Well, what did you do on your last day off?
Went up to Boston. They were having a tea party.
I can see you're in the wrong mood. Why don't you go out and breathe some nice, clean air, and maybe you'll change your mind, huh?
That might help. Okay, see you later. Yeah, look, Archie, I don't like to seem a ghoul, but have you got any ideas where I could get a job?
A job for you? I don't know. Have you tried Ripley? What do you want with a job?
Oh, I gotta get away from home, Arch. I just can't stand that fighting.
Your mother and father again, huh?
Yeah.
What do they fight about?
Oh, the simplest things. Take this morning. It all started about the new silver coffee pot.
Coffee pot?
Yeah, my mother hit me father over the head with it.
Well, why did she have to use the silver coffee pot?
Because it was your 50th wedding anniversary.
Oh. Do they fight all the time like that?
Oh, yeah. Fight. Except once every week they quit for half an hour.
How's that?
They stopped to listen to Mr. Anthony.
Well, ain't there nothing you can do to stop them?
So I tried to. This morning I said, Mom and Papa, why do you fight like this? Why, when you have so much to be thankful for?
Then?
They took a look at me and started swinging again.
Well, must be kind of tough at that, Finnegan, having to watch your mother hit your father with a coffee pot every morning.
Well, it don't bother me too much. You see, I'm a tea drinker myself. But that's why I'd like to get a job, Bart, to get away from it all.
Well, I'll tell you how you can pick up a fast nickel, Finnegan.
A nickel? How?
Well, I want you to go over to Grogan's across the street.
Yeah?
Make sure they don't notice.
Yeah.
And if you see Eddie the waiter talking to Grogan, come right back and let me know.
Oh, boy. I'll be like a G-man.
Yeah, goon. Okay. Now hurry back.
Oh, well, hello, Archie.
Hello, Miss Duffy.
Archie, how do you like my new hat?
Oh, lovely. How often do you have to order it?
Don't be silly. These flowers are artificial.
Oh, I see.
Only the fruit is real.
Look, why do dames' hats have to have everything on them, including the kitchen stove?
Because they serve a very important function. When you pass a woman on the street, what's the first thing you look at?
Miss Duffy. Believe I stick to hats.
you should be talking about clothes, the way you dress.
What's wrong with the way I dress? My clothes fit perfectly.
Yeah, but who?
Look, I got no time to be standing here brandying insults. I got enough to worry about.
What have you got to worry about?
Eddie, the waiter, he's thinking about quitting. And because he can't pry a measly $1 a week salary out of that nickel-nursing old man of yours.
Huh. A fine way to talk about Papa after all he's done for you.
What's he done?
He got you started, gave you responsibility, took you into his confidence, taught you the inside workings of the business.
Miss Duffy, I do not consider helping your father polish up pennies to be passed off as dimes a junior partnership. Believe me, I owe that guy nothing. When I think of what I could have been if I hadn't come to work here 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. It happens that the very morning of the day that he hired me, I turned down a splendid opportunity to go on release. And from there on, who knows?
Hey, come here.
Oh, excuse me, Miss Duffy. What is it, Finnegan?
G-Man reporting.
Oh, yes, G. Now, what's the dope? I mean, outside of you.
Just a second. Are we alone?
Yeah.
Well, who's that standing beside you?
That's you.
Can I be trusted?
We'll have to take a chance. Whatever happened over at Grogan?
You was right, Art. He was working over there.
Are you sure?
Yep.
What was he doing?
He was in the kitchen cutting down the paper plates to make the meals look bigger.
Dirty rat. Not only does he leave us, but he gives away our trade secrets. Dirty traitor. That's Benedictine. Anyway, guess I just better call up the employment agency and hire a new waiter. Hello? Bowery Bum Personnel Service? This is Duffy's Tavern. What have you got in a waiter? Well, I'd like to get a man who can handle both a la carte and cuisine. Huh? The hours, from 7 to 3. That's 7 a.m., of course. Huh? No, the 3 is a.m., too. Dinner jacket? Well, yes, and it would be a good idea if he wore one for breakfast and supper, too. The salary, $35 a week in tips. Okay, send him right down. Mr. Grogan, this is to inform you that you are a low rodent-type rat, for stealing Eddie the waiter. It is such people as you that cause ill feeling between labor and management by offering a living wage. In closing, you are nothing but a crook, a swindler, and an all-around crumb. I remain the same. Signed, Archie. P.S.
Say, Art.
Oh, what is it, Sonny?
I told you I was looking for a job, and you go out and hire a strange waiter. What's wrong with me?
What's wrong with you? Finnegan, pull up a chair. It's going to take a little time. In the first place, you don't know how to write. How could you write down the people's orders?
So, I can make X's. 1 X for salad, 2 X's for soup, 3 X's for meat and coffee.
3 X's for both meat and coffee. How would you know which was which?
Simple. If you have to cut it with a knife, it's me. Look, why don't you at least try me out?
All right, I'll try you out. Now, I'm a customer sitting down here at a table. What do you do first?
I tuck the napkin under your chin.
Well, yes, that's correct as far as it goes. But what do you do if I ain't wearing a collar?
Well, if you ain't wearing a collar, what do you need a napkin for?
Then again, one uses a napkin irregardless of whether he is attired in a collar or not. That's considered good form. As a waiter, you must not forget Emily Pope.
Well, you didn't tell me you came in with a dame.
Finnegan, I would suggest that you try Ripley again, or with your hat off this time. Now, I gotta go finish this letter to Grogan. P.S. In addition to the above, Grogan, you are the gruesomest man I have ever seen.
Hiya, Bud.
Grogan, you are one of the gruesomest men. Now, what can I do for you, Dimple?
I was sent here by the employment agency.
Well, if you'll pardon me, you don't look much like a waiter.
Too pretty, huh? Well, when do I start to work?
Well, just a second. I got to interview you. I got to fill out this form now. Name?
Rosenblum.
Born?
Yep.
I've heard that one 1,000,000 times, and this is the first time I ever doubted it. Now, what education did you have? Did you go to high school?
Does that come before or after college?
Let's skip it.
I think I did. Well, any other questions?
Yeah. How long have you been a waiter?
How long? Well, what time did you call the agency?
Now, wait a minute. Where did you ever work?
Oh, Madison Square Garden, the Legion Stadium, the St. Nicholas Arena.
Hey, just a second. Rosenblum. You ain't Maxie Rosenblum, the fighter.
Yeah.
Holy cat, I didn't recognize you standing up. I've seen you fight a dozen times. I remember the night you fought King Levinsky. He really knocked your brains out that night, didn't he?
That's a great fight.
Yeah. And I was there the night that Mickey Walker flattened you with that right hook in the first round.
I was hot that night.
You never did fight Joe Louis, did you?
Nah, he was too cowardly.
Joe Louis cowardly?
Yeah, he was scared he'd kill me.
Look, Maxie, how come you gave up fighting?
Well, I had trouble with my eyes.
Oh, trouble with your eyes, huh?
Yeah, after the second round, I always seemed to be looking up at me opponent.
That's your opponent. Well, maybe you're just as well off. You know, it's a pretty tough game, that fight game. I used to be in it myself, you know.
You a pugilist?
Oh, certainly. I've pugiled around quite a bit. Look at that wrist. Feel that spike, Cuthbert. No, that ain't chopped liver.
It ain't muscles.
Oh, muscles ain't everything. You see, I was very clever, very scientific. I used to slither around that ring like an eel. In fact, they used to call me the ringworm.
That I believe.
Thanks. Oh, sure. I used to have this terrific corkscrew punch that I invented. You know, I'd start it right above me right knee. Then I'd twist me wrist and turn me body at the same time, you know, putting plenty of shoulder into it.
Sounds great.
Yeah, but, you know, like every great punch, it had a flaw. The recoil used to knock me flat on the head.
Say, I wonder if I had a corkscrew punch and didn't know it.
Probably. But, Maxie, what's this about you working here as a waiter? Don't it feel strange to you after being in the ring so long to be walking around serving drinks?
Nah, I feel right at home. Between rounds, I go to a neutral corner. Oh, by the way, Archie, who's the bimbo over there?
Oh, I'll introduce you. Miss Duffy, this is Maxie Rosenblum, the fighter.
Oh, really? You know, Mr. Rosenblum, if it wasn't for that broken nose and those cauliflower ears, I'd never know you were a fighter.
Hey, this dame is crazy about me. Look, sister, why don't you stick around and help me lux out a few ball rags, huh?
I see what you mean about the eye trouble, Maxie. Okay, you're hired.
Well, what's the salary?
$35 a week in tips, plus 50 cents a round for ejaculating drunks.
$35 a week? Okay, I'll take it. Now, look, before I start, there's one thing I want misunderstood. Anybody says anything I don't like around here gets a punch in the nose. You understand that?
Well, naturally.
And that includes you, ringworm. Well, I'll see you later.
Hello, Duffy. Huh? Yeah, there are no waiters here. Well, at the moment, he's sitting around with the customers. Now, don't fly into a transom, Duffy. You've got to get acquainted with the customers. Well, when closing time comes, you don't want them to be carrying out perfect strangers, do you? Okay.
Oh, Archie, I'm afraid we'll have to get rid of that Flapsy Maxie.
What's the matter?
A customer just spilled some soup, and Mr. Rosenblum is mopping it up.
Well, what's wrong with that?
He's using the customer for our mop.
Hey, Arch, what's with that new waiter?
What's the matter?
I just asked him a simple question, and he punched me right in the nose.
What was the question?
I just asked him, how's the cauliflower?
Well, I can see I'll have to take care of this guy. Hey, Maxie.
Well, what do you want now?
Look, didn't them 5 guys you just served 5 beers to just leave?
Yeah, they left. Well, what about it?
Where is the 2 bits for the 5 beers?
They didn't pay me for them. They just left my tip.
How much was the tip?
The tip's 2 bits. You want to make something about it?
Well, no, I'm just thinking what generous guys they were.
Okay, now, look, I'm in the middle of eating. Don't bother me again.
I'm afraid I have hired a playboy.
Hi, Miss Archie.
Oh, Eddie. So the Portugal son has returned. I should think you'd be ashamed to walk into this place.
Well, a fella can get used to anything in 5 years.
So you turned turncoat on us and went over to work for Grogan, huh?
Are you working for Grogan?
Eddie, don't add perjury to injury.
I'm telling the truth. You see, you gave me the day off, so I just worked over there for a couple of hours, that's all.
You mean you're still working for us?
Yeah, Miss Archie, I guess I still got a soft spot in my head for the old place.
Well, I appreciate it, Eddie. And you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to give you that $1 a week, even if I have to take it out of my own salary. And if I know Duffy, I probably will.
Now, Mr. Archie, see, I don't like to...
Oh, don't worry about it. It just means it puts me in a lower income tax bracket. Besides, I do something for you, Eddie. Maybe you'll do something for me.
What?
Well, you see, we hired a new waiter while you was gone. That big guy over there with the cauliflower ears. So as I say, I do something for you, you do something for me. I want you to go over there and fire that guy.
Miss Archie, I appreciate that $1 a week, but I'd rather not have it paid to my estate.
Wait a minute. You mean you're afraid of him?
Me? Well, no, it's just that you hired him, and I think you the logical man to fire him.
Eddie, don't you want to get no executive experience?
Yeah, but I'd rather climb the hard way, live and learn.
Okay, then, I'll do it myself. Hey, Maxie.
What is it now?
Maxie, I'm sorry to say that a situation has arose. Eddie, who worked here first, is back with us, which naturally leaves you with very little seniority to fall back on.
Hey, wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me I'm fired?
Well, frankly,
You know what happened to the last guy that fired me?
No.
Neither does he.
Now, look, Maxie, leave us not make a scene. You know what I'm driving at. Why don't you just turn in your bar rag and leave quietly?
Well, what about the week's salary?
Well, you only been here 20 minutes.
What?
Okay, we'll pay you full week's salary. Let's see. Here, 20, 25, 30, 35. Hey, Max, 35 cents.
35 what?
35 cents. What did you expect, the blooms? And if you don't mind, I'd like a receipt.
Oh, you'd like a receipt, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, here. I'll give you one.
Hello, Duffy's Tavern, headed to acting manager ticket. Miss Archie? He just went out. Yeah, for about 10 moments.
radio service.
KERA-FM, Dallas.
Mr. District Attorney, starring David Bryan. Mr. District Attorney.
It's Duffy's Tavern, the Friday night transcribed feature on NBC's All-Star Festival of Comedy, Music, Mystery, and Drama. Brought to you by the makers of Anacin for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. By RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. And by Chesterfield, the cigarette that has for you what every smoker wants. Mildness plus no unpleasant aftertaste. The cigarette that brings you Bing Crosby and Bob Hope. And now, here we go, friends, to Duffy's Tavern, with Bert Gordon as the Mad Russian, Hazel Sherman as Miss Duffy, and starring Archie himself, Ed Gardner.
Hello, Duffy's Tavern, where the elite meet to eat. Archie, the producer, speaking. Duffy ain't here. Oh, hello, Duffy. You heard me, producer. Well, I've become a movie maggot. Yeah, I produced a picture called The Man With My Face, and United Artists is handling the release. My release. No, Duffy, that don't mean they're going to get me a pardon from the warden. No, it's a very good picture. In fact, I just been practicing crying. Yeah, for me acceptance speech when they hand me the Oscar. Well, the picture stars Barry Nelson and... Excuse me a second, Duffy. Hey, mister, you didn't pay for your drinks.
Don't worry, I'll pay you later. I got to get back to the circus.
Oh, you're with the circus?
Yeah, Flugel's the name. I'm the general manager.
Oh, gee, I didn't know the circus was in town. Hey, Duffy, I forgot to tell you, my grandmother just dropped dead. Yeah, and I was wondering if... Huh? I should join me grandmother? I guess I'll have to charm the guy over. Tell me, Duffy, how's the buxom and monstrous Mrs. Duffy? She's real happy since she's been on that Hauser diet? Well, what do you think of it? Since she's been on it, she looks like a couple of houses? Well, Duffy, at least she's trying to keep her girlish figure. She's not only kept it, she's doubled it? Well, Duffy, as they say... Excuse me a minute, I'll call you back. Miss Duffy, what's the idea?
What do you mean?
How many times do I have to tell you we don't serve drinks to minors?
You mean that little fellow down the end of the bar?
Yeah.
He's a midget from the circus.
Oh. Well, what's he drinking?
A jigger of beer. I wonder why midgets drink so much.
Why? Well, you know, drinking is a complex with midgets. They like to feel high. And I wonder if any of the other circus people will be dropping in.
Well, the sword swallower had lunch here today.
The sword swallower, huh? Any of the silverware missing?
Well, I don't like to accuse anybody.
You mean that the guy actually...
Well, you know how after our customers eat here, they always burp? This one clinked.
What did he wash it down with, silver polish?
I don't know, but he seemed to enjoy his lunch. He said it tasted just like the Waldorf Astoria.
It should. That's where the silverware comes from. Oh, boy, what a racket that circus life must be, huh? Take that Flugel guy that was just in here. I wonder how he got started in the circus.
I don't know. He must have started as a fire eater.
Fire eater? What makes you say that?
He drank 4 straight shots of our bar rye.
Oh, don't poke fun at the guy, Miss Duffy. He's a big shot at Barnum and Bailey's, and maybe he can help me get back in the circus life again.
What do you mean, back in circus life?
Honey, ever since I was a kid, I've had sawdust in me corpuscles. I used to be assistant to the clown, you know. Him and me used to do a comedy act, dressed up like a horse.
Oh. Imagine, were you any good?
Was I any good? I kept my end up. Yeah, the circus had some great acts in them days. I'll never forget that pyramid act, you know. 9 guys standing on each other's heads. And the bottom guy holding 9 of them up. He was a midget.
Oh, wait a minute, Archie. A midget holding up 9 men?
Well, he wasn't a midget when the act started. Yeah, them was the days then. Snake Charmer, the bearded lady, the human skeleton, Jojo, the dog-faced boy. I wonder what ever happened to him.
How do you do?
Jojo. I mean, Russian. Hey, what's the matter, Russian? You look mad.
Mad? I'm furious. I just went to my barber for a finger wave.
What makes you so mad?
Now I can't get my gloves on.
Russian. A finger wave is for your hair. What's the matter with your barber? Is he stupid?
No, he's cross-eyed.
That must be very confusing.
Embarrassing, too. Today I am telling him to shave me, so he's lathering my face and shaving the manicurist.
Can't. Did it hurt her?
Yes, it was against the grain. Poor fellow, because of his cross eyes, every day he's losing money.
Well, how come?
He keeps putting his hips in the other barber's pocket.
Holy cat, a cross-eyed barber. It's a wonder Bondman Bailey don't hire him. By the way, Russian, you been to the circus yet?
Most of course. I like the circus.
You do, huh?
Yes, everything but the freak show.
Well, what don't you like about the freak show?
I have too much trouble.
Oh. Getting in?
No, getting out. You know something, Archie?
What?
My girl was a tattooed lady.
Your girl was a tattooed lady?
Yes, I have here a snapshot of her. I took when she was posing with a lion.
Let me see. Hey, boy, that's a ferocious-looking lion, but where's the tattooed lady?
How do you like that? I guess I didn't snap the picture fast enough.
Well, that must be a great life, though, to be a circus entertainer. You know, I bet you I'd make a good ringmaster.
Why?
Well, I have a nice personality and a divine smile, a lot of charm, good, strong voice.
Yeah, and you can throw it, too.
I beg your pardon?
The voice.
Oh.
In my case, I would like to be a lion tamer.
You, a lion tamer?
Why not?
But suppose one of those lions starts going for you.
Don't be silly. What would a lion be seeing in me?
Russian. Miss Duffy was just speaking gutsatorially.
Oh.
Actually, lions ain't so dangerous if you use the right psychology.
Psychology?
Yeah.
Psychology, yeah?
Yeah, you heard me. Psychology.
Say, pardon me. What caliber psychology would you recommend?
Well, look, Russian, don't be so sniffle. You're talking to a master psychologist. And you know how we psychologists approach the lion today?
From the rear.
No, with understanding and kindness. Now, say you're strolling down Fifth Avenue and you suddenly come face to face with a lion. What do you do?
This is before or after lunch?
Well, that depends. Whose lunch?
The lion's.
Well, all right, then, before lunch.
Well, in that case, I would tip my hat and say, Buenos dias.
Why would you say Buenos dias?
By this time, I'm in Mexico.
Well, that's where you're wrong. You see, lions have feelings, too. You gotta treat them like human beings, like they was people. So when you run up against a lion, you have a good thick whip to beat him with, and a chair to stick in his eye if he gets vicious, and maybe a gun to blow out his brains, but above all, brown lions should be treated with kindness. You see? You got to understand each other. After all, when you analyze it, what is a lion most interested in? He's most interested in another lion.
Why?
Are you a lion?
No.
Then what do you care? You see? The point is that the average lion has a very sweet disposition. It's just that he's so nasty that nobody notices. As Freud himself says, a lion is just a kitten with an overactive thyroid.
Archie, Sigmund Freud never wrote about lions.
I am referring to Floyd Freud, the veterinarian. He says psychologically, when a lion eats a man, in other words, a homus human beings, he's just eating him for inferior motives, you see. The poor lion is hungry, and naturally he wants to satisfy his B complex. In other words, it ain't a matter of whips and guns. It's a matter of inverted ego transcending over to Narcissus.
Archie, you are the only man I know that can make things confusing enough for me to understand.
Thank you, Russian. Yep, me head is made up. I'm gonna be a lion tamer, guys. I can see myself already, walking into the big top. The crowd cheering. I'll be Fearless Archie, the king of the beasts. I'll walk into that cage with a steely glint in the eye, and them cats snarling at me, and I can... Down, Duffy, down. Now I'm rolling. Now, Duffy, open your mouth.
Why?
I want to stick me head into it.
No matter what you now take for headache relief, we urge you to try Anacin for the incredibly fast relief these tablets bring the next time you're suffering from a headache. Now, the reason Anacin is so wonderfully fast-acting and effective is this. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. Thousands of people have received envelopes containing Anacin tablets from their own dentist or physician, and in this way discovered the incredibly fast relief Anacin brings from pains of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. So, the next time a headache strikes, take Anacin for this wonderfully fast relief. Anacin, A-N-A-C-I-N. Anacin at any drug counter in handy boxes of 12 and 30, economical family-sized bottles of 50 and 100.
Hey, Miss Duffy.
Yeah?
As soon as that guy from the circus gets back here, let me know, will you?
You mean you're really serious about being a lion tamer?
Of course, but I want you to know that even though I'm the star of the circus with a dozen lions eating out of me hand, I'll still nod to me old friends.
It's a cinch you won't be shaking hands with them.
Well, I don't want to be too democratic. Now, let's see what equipment I'll need. I still got to get a whip and a chair for me. Now, what else?
How about some dental floss for the lions?
Don't jest about this thing, Miss Duffy. It's something I've wanted to do all my life. And now, at last, me childhood libidos can be frustrated. The more I think about it, the more it explains that dream I had last night.
What dream?
I dreamt I was right in the middle of 3 rings.
3 rings, huh?
Yeah, and what else could that mean but a circus?
I don't know. Have you checked your bathtub lately?
You see if you can get a pass to the circus sometime. Just to show you that I know what I'm talking about, I'm going to call the guy from the circus right now. Hello, Barnum and Bailey? Mr. Flugel there? No, huh? Well, let me talk to Mr. Barnum. Oh, I'm sorry to hear it. Well, then let me talk to Mr. Bailey. Him, too? Well, it's nice that the partners are still together. I guess they ain't got much kick. It was the circus thing while they lasted. Well, look, I happen to be looking for a good buy in an untamed lion. What size did I have in mind?
Something in it. It's a shame to take it away from its mother's size.
What'd you say, sir? Huh? Would I be interested in a young tiger that's full of life? Well, that depends. Whose life is he full of? Well, what kind of a looking tiger is he? Oh, he's standing right next to you. Is he real ferocious? Well, look, I don't want an animal that's too wild. However, if you could guarantee me that... Hello?
What happened?
I think he just joined Barnum and Bailey. me see. Where am I going to get a lion? You know, a real ugly beast with flappy ears and shaggy hair.
Oh, I hear you calling me.
You're a little shaggier than I had in mind, Russian. But maybe you do. You think you could become a lion?
Why not? 2 years ago, my father became an elk.
Look, cut the comedy, Russian. Look, Miss Duffy, come here.
Yeah.
Hand me that old buggy whip.
Oh, here you are.
Okay, thanks. Now, Russian, up on your hind legs. Good. Now, growl at me like a lion. No. Feeling nasty today, eh, Bingo? Well, take that. And that.
Please, if you don't mind. That whip just cut the suspenders off my pants.
Shut up, Russian, and get back into character.
I'd rather get back into my pants.
What we lion tamers have to put up with. Now stand back, everybody, as Phyllis Archie walks to the... Hey, Miss Duffy, whose dog is that over there?
Mine. I just got him.
What do you want with a dog?
Well, with all the strange men running loose in this neighborhood, a girl like me needs a dog.
What is he, a retriever? Wait a minute, let me look at him. Hey, he's a Doberman Punchy, ain't he?
A Doberman Punchy? Who ever heard of such a thing? Just shows you how much you know about dogs.
Well, what is he?
He's a Duesenberg.
Well, it's a cinch he ain't no water spaniel. When did he have a bath last?
Archie, he's not dirty. Those are just his natural markings. You like them?
Hard to tell the way the markings keep moving around.
Say, Archie, how's about the lion taming act?
I'm sorry, Russian, you're fired. The dog looks smarter than you do.
So you had to hire Pothead. Go ahead and train him.
Archie, you mean a fearless lion tamer like you is going to poke chairs at my little dog?
Duffy, the psychology is the same with dogs as with a lion. Same psychology, only with a little dog like this, you just use less of it. It's just a matter of showing him that fearless Archie ain't afraid of him. Now watch me. Rover, come towards me. Rover, come here. Come towards me. Quick, Miss Duffy, grab him before he goes out the door.
Okay, I got him. Oh, look, he's shaking. He's scared to death.
Of course he's scared. He knows when he's met his equal. Now put him on a bar over there, Russian.
Okay.
Thanks. Now, Rover, shake hands. Rover, shake hands.
Maybe he's waiting for a formal introduction.
I'll use reverse psychology. Rover, don't shake hands. There, you see how quick he obeyed that one?
Archie, why don't you have him do arithmetic?
You mean give the answers to addition and subtraction?
Yes.
But who around here will know if he's right or wrong?
No problem.
We'll find out. Rover, now, put on your thinking cap. Now, what is 2 plus 2? Come on now, Rover, concentrate. 2 plus 2. Rover, it begins with an F.
Not that I'm being jealous, but I think I could do it better.
Oh, yeah? What is 2 plus 2? Well, after all, you're a human being. Hey, I got an idea. Maybe he ain't just up on his addition. Let's try him on subtraction. Now, Rover, how much is 2 minus 2? You're right, nothing. You see, it's just like I told you. It's a matter of psychology. That's all.
Here's a word from RCA Victor. Inch for inch, your best buy in television is RCA Victor 19-inch. It's big, better, more for your money. And here's why RCA Victor's new picture pickup brings in the best possible reception. Pictures are clear, steady, and bright. And RCA Victor television is million-proof television, quality-proven, in over 2 million homes. Best of all, RCA Victor 19-inch television is yours for little more than what was once paid for 10-inch television. And remember this, only RCA Victor owners can buy the RCA Victor factory service contract for expert installation and maintenance. So, ask your RCA Victor dealer to show you 19-inch television. It's in a wide range of table models, consoles, and combination instruments. And, by the way, here's the big RCA Victor record value. It's the new Singer's Single Series, 54 all-time Tin Pan Alley tunes by 9 of America's brightest recording stars.
Mr. Flugel, the general manager of the circus.
Hello, Archie. I came back to pay for those drinks.
You, a colleague, pay for drinks?
A colleague?
Yeah, I figure you and me may be working together one of these days.
Well, I do need an assistant, but have you ever worked in a circus?
Well, yes and no. I guess I did if you count that season I was going steady with the Siamese twins.
Did you have any fun?
Yes and no. And in addition to that, not that I want to brag, but I trained the big cats for years.
I see. And how are you on dogs?
Oh, pretty good. Why, are you interested?
Certainly. It's an important part of my business.
Dogs, huh? Well, I'm a Schlemelian that can change his spots. Miss Duffy, where's Rover?
He's over there in the bar. He hasn't moved a muscle in the last 3 hours, except to scratch himself.
Oh, we better have him degermanized. Now watch this, Mr. Flugel. Rover, come here. Rover, play dead. Pretty good, huh, Mr. Flugel?
But he's just laying there. He isn't acting.
What do you want from a poor little mutt, Lunton Fontaine? I'll show you another trick. Rover, go over there and eat the free lunch. Rover, go over there and eat the free lunch. There you are, Mr. Flugel.
He didn't even move.
That shows you how smart he is. And now for our next trick.
What's the next trick?
Arithmetic.
You mean he can count?
Well, I don't say that he can do advanced calcium. But he does a system of barks to take the place of digits, what he calls his digitalis system. But there's one thing you got to remember.
What's that?
When he don't bark, that means 0.
I see.
Now get this, Flugel. Rover, what's 2 minus 2?
2 minus 2 is 4.
Well, you know how dogs love to exaggerate. Well, Flugel, you see how well me and the animals get along? Do I get the job?
Well, as I said, I do need an assistant, but...
Say no more. I'll be back in a nonce with me whipping me chair. Gang, take care of Mr. Flugel till I get back. Huh?
Okay.
Okay, Archie.
Say, Mr. True.
Yes?
All my life I have wanted to be in a circus. Even as a boy, I wanted to be a bearded lady.
What happened?
My sister beat me to it.
Now, just a minute. There seems to be some mistake about my circus.
Why? Aren't you with Barnum and Bailey?
Certainly not. I own and manage Flugel's Flea Circus.
You have a flea circus?
Yes.
With fleas?
Of course.
Well, boys, I'm back. Bring on the big cats.
Archie, I think there's something you should know.
Don't bother me. I got business with Mr. Flugel.
But this circus of his
Look,
isn't...
butt out of this, will you? Well, Flugel, what about that job? I'm just itching to get started.
If you think you're itching now, wait till you get to the circus.
Yeah, huh? Tell me, how many animals do you have?
Oh, a few thousand.
Few thousand, huh? Boy, the place must be really jumping with them, huh?
It is.
Wonderful thing, them animals. You really get to love them, don't you?
Yes, they do get under your skin.
One favor I'd like to ask, Flugel. I'd like to be there at feeding time.
Don't worry, you will be.
Gee, thanks. Tell me, what do you feed your animals?
Oh, no special diet. We just let them eat a little off the trainer's arm. trying to tell me. In the long run, wouldn't horse meat be cheaper? Well, them animals of yours don't seem to be very tent-broken.
Well, they do get a little pesky sometimes. Last week, 6 of them ran away.
Ran away? Did you find them?
Oh, yes.
Where?
In my bed.
In your bed? What size animals have you got?
Oh, just average size, please.
Oh, and that... Would you mind to repeat that?
I've been trying to tell you, Mr. Flugel runs a flea circus.
A flea circus? Then why are you interested in me?
It's not you, Archie. It's your dog, Rover.
Me dog?
Yes, the way he keeps scratching himself. You see, for Flugel's flea circus, I am also the talent scout.
Holy cat, a flea circus after me wasting all that time learning to be a lion tamer. Miss Duffy.
Yeah?
Hand me me chair, me whip, and a magnifying glass.
Before we leave the tavern this evening, here's a word from Bing Crosby and Bob Hope. Say, Bing, you got a minute?
Oh, sure, Bob. I got all the time in the world.
Don't tell me you own that, too.
Oh, never mind that stuff. Get to work with it.
Okay. Folks, better tasting Chesterfield is the only cigarette that combines for you mildness with no unpleasant aftertaste. And you can prove that yourself. Just make our mildness test. Buy Chesterfields, then open them and enjoy that milder, mellow aroma. Now light one up, and you'll know Chesterfield's milder because it smokes milder. And Chesterfield leaves no unpleasant aftertaste. That fact has been confirmed by the country's first and only cigarette taste panel.
Yes, mildness and no unpleasant aftertaste are what you and I and every smoker wants.
Hurry up, Dad. Here comes the music.
Buy Chesterfield, Chesterfield, the one that proves its case. Yes, Chesterfields are milder, milder, plus no aftertaste.
Oh, ho, open the pack and give 'em a sniff.
Then you'll smoke 'em.
Listen again next week, friends, to Duffy's Tavern, the Friday night transcribed feature on NBC's All-Star Festival of Comedy, Music, Mystery, and Drama. Brought to you by the makers of Anacin for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. By RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. And by Chesterfield, the cigarette that has for you what every smoker wants. Mildness plus no unpleasant aftertaste. Listen tomorrow evening for The Man Called X, starring Herbert Marshall, the Saturday night feature of the All-Star Festival.